5 minutes to go to the start of racing. We begin at 9:35 a.m. with the E final for the men's single. Then we'll see some D finals, C finals before we take a quick break for the semifinals later in the morning. So less than 5 minutes to go to the start of racing.
Atención a todos, de la gente en el recinto, en el parque de botes. Estamos a 5 minutos de abrir esta jornada, esta gran jornada. Arrancamos de inmediato con la intensidad de las finales E, D y C de los botes. Ya están todos en la zona de salida y vayan ocupando los asientos. Empezamos las finales a las 9:35 hasta las 10:25 y a partir de las 11:05 tenemos las semifinales. Nos espera una emocionante jornada de semifinales de la Copa del Mundo aquí en Sevilla, donde los mejores remeros del mundo buscarán asegurar un pase a la final del domingo.
Well, I am delighted to bring you the first race of the day. This is the 9:35 a.m. Men's single final E, and They're on the course and underway, as we can see on the screen. Out of lane 1, it is Hong Kong, China, Chan Chi Fong. Out of lane 2, Iraq 2, that's Mohammed Al-Kafaji. Lane 3 is France, that's Hugo Roch. Lane 4, Argentina 3, Maximo Gustavo Pacheco. And finally, lane 5, Venezuela, Rodi Sarad Fali Torres. On the course and looking like a clean start and a slight advantage to France out of the center lane. That's Hugo Roch with an early lead, 40 strokes per minute.
Damos a los primeros 500 metros, parece que Francia toma la posición con ligera ventaja sobre Argentina, 4 o 5 metros, seguido por Irak, Hong Kong, muy igualados, y Venezuela.
Hugo Roch now 39, lengthening out just a little bit into that base cadence. We haven't yet gotten the times at that first 500-meter mark, but certainly he's made an early statement and had a good start, taken on an early lead. Closest to him is the Argentinian, just on the other side of him, Gustavo Pacheco, and about 10 meters or so separating them as we await that timing marker to give us a sense of exactly where these crews lie. But good start once again for France. Running in third, well, it's your pick across 3 shells. Hong Kong, China, Iraq 2, and Venezuela running nearly level as they come through that first 500-meter timing marker. And for the first time this morning, I'm delighted to throw over to Richie on the water. Richie, they'll be coming shortly near you.
Yeah, through the 500 to get us underway in this final E of the men's single sculls. They raced yesterday in the heats. They didn't advance onto the quarterfinals, so they had a rest yesterday and back now to find the minor positions in final E. As he said, centre of the course is going with form with the French sculler. Hugo Roch was 14th in the quad last year at the World Championships, 11th, in the quad. Now racing in this, the men's single. Centre of the course, he's leading it out and opening up clear water now as they went through 500. The Argentinian world rowing debut from Pacheco in second place ahead of Iraq, Hong Kong, China and Venezuela. This times yesterday when they were going through didn't make the quarterfinal qualifying times, but the fastest time out of the times there were the French and Iraqi scullers. So we're expecting them to see do the running, and that's why they're centre lanes in lanes 3 and 4, so this they get the better lanes, having got the faster times in the heats yesterday. So going with form as they come up towards that all-important halfway mark, it's Hugo Roch continuing to lead it out ahead of Argentina, Iraq, Hong Kong, China and Venezuela. And when we get that halfway mark, we'll see have any of the positions changed from 500 meters.
Primera regata de esta mañana de sábado, la final E de esquife absoluto, y ya vemos que el remero francés Hugo va poniendo agua de por medio sobre sus rivales, ya va ciertamente distanciado. En segunda posición va Argentina, seguido de Irak, Hong Kong, China y Venezuela. Va para el segundo puesto, van los barcos un poco distanciados unos de otros, parece que la regata es clara y el francés en principio está dominando la regata bastante bien.
So through that halfway mark, not much has changed. They're still in the same positions. Hugo Roch of France leading it out ahead of Maximum Gustavo Pacheco of Argentina in second. Interestingly, the Iraqi sculler was actually the faster time in the heats yesterday. So the Argentinian sculler making a move here to try do him on the course coming down the track, and has moved into second and opening up a little bit of a lead over the Iraqi back in third. Hong Kong, China in fourth place ahead then of Venezuela. So the positions haven't changed, but the distances between the boats have as they went through that halfway mark. They're just coming under the bridge for that brief interlude from the sun to get a little bit of shade, and then they're approaching now the about 600 meters to go. They're fairly well spread out in our first race of the day here as they approach 500 meters to go. So it is in full control. Hugo Roch in lane 3, able to look left and right and see what challenges might come his way. He's got a cushion of about 2.5, 3 lengths of clear water ahead of the chasing pack, and at that pack at the moment being led by the Argentinian. But as I say that, I can see the Iraqi sculler has put on a big push now, just coming from the bridge up to this 500 metres to go, has really powered on, and I think has moved into second place ahead of the Argentinian. And also going well on the far side, nearest the enclosure, it is the Hong Kong Chinese sculler, really lifting it up and powering on. The only sculler I have to say is the Venezuelan sculler off the pace at the moment, with more than about 30 metres of clear water. No doubt about the leader though, it's France leading, Iraq now moving into second place of Argentina, and here comes Hong Kong China.
Bueno, al paso de los 1500 y ya prácticamente los 1750 se ve que la regata pues está perfectamente dominada por el francés Roch Hugo, que se va a hacer, salvo sorpresa que no creo que se dé, con la primera posición, una distancia bastante grande respecto al segundo clasificado, que sería el iraquí Al-Kahafi. Y luego ya en tercera posición tenemos al argentino Máximo Pacheco, Chai Chang de Irak y de Hong Kong, perdón, y el venezolano iría en última posición.
So Colleen, first race of the day underway, a perfect chevron coming down towards you with France leading it out.
Yeah, France continuing to lead. Hugo Roch, the 21-year-old who, of course, is still eligible at the U23 level and is rowing up a class here at the senior level in Seville. In complete command of this race, a cool 30-36. But yes, as you said, also keeping my eye on Iraq. Mohamed Al-Kafaji having a good second half, the 32-year-old with loads of international experience.
Sí, linda regata, cambios de posición después de los primeros 1000 metros. Irak tomó la segunda posición, que la está manteniendo. Primero a la calle 3, Francia. Segundo, Irak por la calle 2. Y lucha ahora por la tercera plaza entre Argentina y Hong Kong, China.
Hugo Roch in his final strokes to round out this World Cup regatta in the final E. He's first across the line. That's the horn for him, so a job well done. He'll be happy with that performance, leading start to finish. And coming through the line then, it is Mohamed Al-Kafaji of Iraq. A good second half for him, takes him through and then over out of lane 2. That's the horn, as well as the times start to roll in. So Hugo Roch, a good piece. Mohamed Al-Kafaji to take second, but a big lead for Hugo Roch, and a job well done to win this E-final and the first race of the day. Well, back on the course, we move on to the D final of the men's single sculls, mid-second quarter.
Back into the D final, a slight difference from the E final, where these scullers raced both in the heat and the quarterfinals yesterday, not making the qualifying spaces into the semi-finals, but they are racing here in final D. Lane 1, David Sane of Croatia, unfortunately did not start due to medical issues. Hope he's making a recovery here. But we have 5 boats coming down towards us and an unfamiliar sight in a final D. It is Stefanos Tuskus leading it out. Would have expected to see him in the mix in the final, but here he is in full control of final D. He actually had a slower qualifying time than the Argentinian, who's in second place, but he has the better of him coming through the 1,000 metres. So it's Greece, Tuskus, leading it out from Argentina, Senna, ahead of Adam Oliver of Great Britain, Pancho of Argentina, and then the 2 Croatian scullers, Rocco Boskovic, in 5th place as they came through the 1,000 metres. They're just coming up to the bridge now, but in full control, Stefanos Tuskus leading it out ahead of Argentina, Senna.
Bueno, hasta final D vemos que solamente hay 5 tripulaciones participantes al causar baja Croacia por razones médicas de uno de sus integrantes. Esta final D pues nos depara una gran sorpresa, ya que vemos en la misma, bueno, al esquifista griego Stefanos Tsioukas, que es el actual campeón del mundo. Él incluso bueno, fue campeón olímpico en Tokio en la misma modalidad en 2020, es un gran remero, y ayer iba muy bien posicionado hasta los 1.250 metros, que bueno, ahí perdió toda opción incluso de entrar por
Moving through the third quarter, it is continues to be Stefanos Tsitsipas, the gold winner at the World Championship last year in this event. So as Richie mentioned, perhaps a bit surprising to see him in the D final. He's certainly making the best of it, though, as these athletes cross through 1,500 meters down and into the final quarter. It is Tsitsipas with an advantage, well, ever so slightly, about 9 meters or so separating him from the Argentinian Pacheco. So we'll see if Argentina is able to find another level, but Tsitsipas at the moment in control.
Pasados los 1.500 metros, sigue en primera posición la calle 3, Grecia, pero se le acercó respecto a los 1.000 la tripulación de Argentina, de Agustín Essenas, aproximadamente a 2 segundos. Luego tenemos al inglés por la calle 5, que está acercándose, y será una bonita lucha por esas 3 primeras posiciones.
Closing in just shy of the red buoy zone. A job well done for Tsitsipas. He's now at 36 strokes per minute, the Greek sculler. And, well, not quite the quickest moving boat on the course, although a little bit of an answer. The Argentinian looking to make a run for it. That's Argentina 2. So Skena just on the other side of him, keeping his bow in good touch and making a bit of an effort. Can he hold as they close in to the final stretch?
Sí, acercando ya los boyas rojas, parece que Grecia ha aumentado el ritmo de paladas, está entre 37 y 38 paladas, mantiene ese bote de diferencia sobre Argentina por la segunda posición. Luego tenemos a Inglaterra y Argentina por la calle 2, Croacia 2 en la última posición.
Ooh, well, bit of a response from Tsitsipas. He pushes the Argentinian away, increases his boat speed, now up to 38 strokes per minute, looking to go out with a bang in this D final. He's got a 1-length advantage as he comes through the line. That's the buzzer for Tsitsipas, Stefanos Tsitsipas of Greece. Solid race start to finish. The Argentinian, a fantastic effort from Agustin Mateans Skena, but not quite enough to track him down. That's the 1-2, and we'll get a sense of the times here in just a moment as out of lane 2, Argentina 1 coming through the line. That's Ignacio Daniel Pacheco, with Great Britain taking third. So halfway through Final D, we switch now to the men's double sculls, where it's looking like a fantastic first half of the race for this Netherlands 3 crew. So a good press from the Dutch. That's Vos Mason in the bow seat, Nicolas Dirkswagen in the stroke seat for the Dutch. 35 strokes per minute into their base cadence, but Romania keeping in really good touch. So those two out in the lead. Romania looking to track down the Dutch. Can they do about 5 meters or so separating them? The Netherlands lead, Romania running a very close second, and then Brazil a bit back, open water back to Brazil running third.
Sí, tenemos en la final D del skiff, tenemos por la calle 4 a Netherlands 3, que está luchando por la primera posición con Rumanía. De la calle 3, 4, luchando por la primera y segunda posición, pero muy igualados también Netherlands 2 por la calle 2 y Brasil por la calle 5. Paso de 1.500 metros nos dará la posición exacta. En estos momentos parece una ligera ventaja de Netherlands 3 sobre la tripulación de Rumanía.
Well, this will be one to watch as they approach 500 meters to go. Still up at the top, the Netherlands and Romania continuing to go stroke by stroke. The Netherlands didn't like that push from Romania. They've got a bit of an answer, but open water back. Well, the fight for third continues between Brazil, Denmark, and the Netherlands too, and Estonia in the mix as well, as we get a sense of times there. The Netherlands 3, though, continuing to push on. That's this Dutch combination. Can the Romanians track them down? Andrei Lungo, Andrei Eamon from Romania, losing maybe just a bit of pressure that they had a few moments ago as the Dutch take off.
Atención, ya acercándose a los últimos 300 metros de regata, lucha por la primera y segunda posición de Netherlands por la calle 4 y Rumanía por la calle 3, pero atención por la resta de tripulaciones. Todas están en un segundo a falta de 250 metros. Va a ser una llegada, se prevé una llegada muy bonita en los últimos 250 metros.
Estonia, fantastic last couple of 100 meters for Estonia too, looking to see if they can track down the leaders. And in fact, they've managed to overhaul Romania just barely in these closing stages as they approach the red buoy zone. What a press from Estonia. Kiver and Hain of Estonia now just a touch ahead of Romania, but is it enough to get the Dutch?
Estonia ha hecho un cambio de ritmo espectacular. En estos momentos parece ser que está acercándose mucho a la primera posición, que la mantiene en estos momentos Netherlands y Rumanía. Escasa diferencia, pero atención que la segunda posición en estos momentos está para Estonia. Están viendo ustedes la llegada muy espectacular de esta prueba de doble school final D.
Mason and Dix Vaga of the Netherlands in their final few strokes. It's open water back to the rest of the field, but look at the Estonians go. No, there's overlap, just 3 meters separating them as they come through the line. A fantastic second half from Estonia. They were quick out of the gate. They fell back to 6th at the halfway, 3rd at 1,500 down to move into 2nd and charging to the line at the end as the times roll in. So it is the Netherlands then to take the win. It's Estonia to take 2nd. It's Romania then who got pushed back, followed by Brazil, over to Denmark, and just a fantastic finish with that final Dutch crew then coming through the line to take 6th. That was the D final then of the men's double sculls. And Italy continuing to hold the advantage, 33 strokes per minute, the quickest boat on the course. And, well, quite an open water advantage then back to the Dutch, about 20 meters or so separating them. Then over to Germany, that's the 1, 2, 3. Switzerland, 2. Over to Brazil and back to Peru as we approach 1,500 to go, just mid-third quarter.
So we're back up and running here. The crews are just coming through the bridge. As we said previously, they get that briefest of breaks from the sun that's beating down on them as they power down. But it's a great marker, a lot of support up on the bridge as well. It'll give them a lift as they come in towards the run, in towards the finish. Centre lanes, Netherlands and Italy were the faster of the times coming through the heats. We would expect them to be leading it out, and that's what we see happening. The Italian sculler, a little bit of clear water, and she's able to glance over to her right-hand side and see the threat coming from the two scullers that had similar times in the heats as well. The Netherlands and Germany, they're back in second and third, but having a nice run. Tucked in on the far side is the Swiss sculler as well as they approach 500 metres. Italy leading it out by clear water. Netherlands in second. It looks like now the Swiss sculler just getting the better of Germany.
Vemos también en esta final C de esquí absoluto femenino como la remera italiana está imponiendo su poderío, pasa ya sobre un par de barcos por delante de sus rivales y no parece que vaya a tener ninguna complicación en ganar esta regata.
So down they go, in towards the run, in towards the finish, and stretching out now, it is the Italian sculler continuing to power on. Really dominant display here to have clear water ahead of the chasing pack in the run into the finish. The Dutch sculler in second, again, nice cushion of comfortable run in towards the finish, knowing that the other scullers are going to run out of water. They're not going to be able to make back in this final C of the women's single sculls. So into the red boys we go, and leading it out, it's Italy from the Netherlands.
Yeah, Italy, Anna Sara, Sophie Sauer looking so dominant start to finish in this final, in this C final. The advantage, well, she's continued to build it over the last 1,000 meters or so, opening up the margin between her and just next to her, that Dutch sculler, so Sonja Hospes, and the Italian keeping the boat moving 35 strokes per minute and pressing on as we close into the final 200.
Estamos en los últimos 250 metros y observamos que la italiana sigue en primera posición y hay una fuerte lucha por la segunda, tercera y cuarta posición entre Holanda, Alemania y Suiza.
Sauer pressing on again. This race has gone just perfectly to plan for her as she looks in to close into the final, 30 strokes or so. A cool 36 strokes per minute, somewhat lower than we'd expect from the Italians, right? The Italians known for that aggressively high stroke rate, but she doesn't quite need to go any higher, does she? Because she's getting the job done so efficiently in the water. 35 flat, carrying on. The Dutch sculler just off the side of her. Again, that's Sonja Hospes of the Netherlands, and then open water back. We see the battle carrying on between lanes 1 and 2, Switzerland 2 and Germany 2, Sophia Meeken and Charlotte Bergdorf as the times roll in. But no doubt about it, Sauer just in control of that race, start to finish. Well, let's head to the fan zone now, down in the grandstands, where Paulino is soaking up the atmosphere. Paulino, over to you.
Hello, everybody. We're here in the fan zone. Here I am in the photo call with Seville. Okay, leave me. Come with me. We can here in the fan zone now. You can paint your face. You can use your own flags here with the boys. Ask for everything you want. Come here. We can do now. Some paintings, some very flags. You can do your own flag with every color you want. Here we can compete with your rowing air. We're gonna have some competition during the day, during tomorrow too, and the winner is gonna win some presents. Come here, come join me. We can now here see some water beer pong over there and some games. And in the last stands, we can hear a rope with some games with the jumping and this kind of thing. So come and join us from the end zone.
Well, you join us now. Thank you so much, Paulino. Back to the water. You join us at mid-third quarter, where the men's single sculls final C is on the course. And for Hungary, Pitavarimini Molna, of course, a name that's very well recognized in this category, is perhaps not surprisingly out in the lead. 34 strokes per minute against Johan Lamiral, the Frenchman, just on the other side of him, about, well, 3 meters separating them. So France trying to make a push, but it is Hungary holding the lead.
Acercándonos a los 1500, hay fuerte lucha entre la calle 3 y 4, Francia y Hungría, por la primera posición. En estos momentos igualaron las proas. Linda regata por esta primera y segunda posición. Tenemos en tercera posición a España, seguida de Hungría, España, Irak y Japón. Esta sería la situación en los pasos de los 1500 metros.
Johan Lamiral, a fantastic effort, sees his bow just get ahead of the Hungarian. They are going toe-to-toe in the closing stages, looking for the red buoy zone, about 50 meters or so out from it. Absolutely dead level. Hungary and France, and then behind them, well, it's open water back to Japan, to Spain, and on the outside lanes, Iraq 1 and Brazil, but absolutely incredible up at the top of the field. And Hungary, well, didn't quite like that threat from France because he's pushed back in now to lead.
Sigue la lucha por la primera posición entre Francia y Hungría. Apenas 2 metros de diferencia entre ellos, 38, 39 paladas. En tercera posición tenemos la tripulación de España luchando con Japón y también con Irak. Brasil en estos momentos también está luchando por esa cuarta, quinta y sexta posición.
Hungary's Pétavary Molna, a fantastic effort up now to 43 strokes per minute. He wants to make sure that his bow is first to cross the line. That effort has given him now a good 10, 13 meter advantage or so over the Frenchman, Johan Lamiral. He's managed to push him back over the last 20 strokes or so. Absolutely incredible racing as they go toe to toe. He's now clear water coming through the line, 43, 44 strokes per minute. Fantastic. France will capture second then. Fantastic effort. And then it's looking like over in lane 2, over to Spain to take third in this C final. Well, fast and furious, we move on to the C final of the women's pair on the course. It's a 3-boat final with Brazil, Great Britain, and Japan. And, well, the story of the first 1,000 meters was a quick start for Japan. They were first to the timing marker. Great Britain was second, and then back to Brazil. And, in fact, the standings have changed. The Brits have managed to overhaul the Japanese, and Brazil in really tight contention right now. But it is Great Britain, Japan, and then back to Brazil.
Sí, tenemos ya acercándonos a los 750 metros, vemos la tripulación de Gran Bretaña en primera posición en estos momentos, seguida muy cerca por Japón y Brasil. Separan aproximadamente entre 3 y 5, en estos momentos pasa a los 1000 metros en primera posición Gran Bretaña, a 1 segundo 15 Japón y a 2 segundos 09 Brasil.
We see a bit of an effort from the Japanese trying to track down the Brits, but the Brits at a cool 36 strokes per minute. Lauren Carey in the bow, Juliette Perry in the stroke seat, maintaining that lead as they move into the second half. This one is so close up at the top. Japan starting to make another bit of a push. Takano Akio and Yokenka Aoshi, a great effort as they move through the 1,000-meter mark to see if they can track down and get their bow just ahead of Great Britain. Again, They led at the 500. They were overhauled, so we'll see if they have a response. It does mean that the Brazilians just behind them need to work hard with that battle continuing to develop just ahead of them. So the Brazilians staying in good touch. The question is, can they maintain this pace through the third quarter?
So just coming under the bridge, down the track now, and heading towards that 500 metres to go. Centre of the course, the fastest of these three crews that raced in the heats is leading it out. That's Great Britain. New combination here. Julia Perry won bronze medal in the women's 8 last year at the World Championships. Now partnering up here with Lauren Carey and leading it out, but the Japanese crew responding, as you were saying, Colleen. They've really, every time GB has tried to pull away, the Japanese crew have come back and eaten back into that lead that has been opened up. Another new combination here, previously having raced in the women's 4 and the single at the World Championships last year, now racing in the pair. They're matching each other stroke for stroke, and their bow balls just surging ahead. The Brazilian crew have stayed with them, so they've got overlap as well, with 500 metres to go. We'll see just when they come through that marker on the surge. I think it might be the Japanese crew just by not even the length of the bow number that they have on their bows, leading ahead of GB, with Brazil overlapping in third.
Esta final C absoluta femenina de Dosing está siendo realmente competida. Hay 3 tripulaciones, Brasil, Gran Bretaña y Japón. Y vemos que tanto Gran Bretaña como Japón han pasado por los 1500 muy igualadas. Veremos cómo se resuelve la final la regata, que parece que va a tener un final muy disputado. Y un poquito más atrás, las remeras brasileñas.
So coming down towards the red boys and that 250 to go. It's a real battle here between two of the crews. I think the Brazilians are going to run out of water, but the lead has changed so many times between Great Britain and Japan. It's going to see who's going to hold their composure in the run-in towards the finish. And Colleen, I can't call it from where I am. Hopefully you've that better view to see which of the crews are going to get across the line first.
Yeah, it's an absolutely thrilling final 500 meters to what's been a phenomenal race thus far. Indeed, it is the Japanese holding that advantage over the Brits. The question is, do the Brits have a sprint in them? 37 strokes per minute for the Japanese, 38 for the Brits, 3 meters separating.
Bonita regata, bonito final. Ahí tenemos la lucha entre Japón y Gran Bretaña por la primera posición. Veremos unos 200 metros muy bonitos porque apenas separan 2 metros la velocidad de ambas tripulaciones y el ritmo parecido, 38-39 paladas, y en tercera posición Brasil.
Oh, the British are moving. The British are responding. They're toe-to-toe. The Japanese have an answer for them. They're nearly level as they come through the line. But it is Japan, Takino and Yokogawa holding on to the advantage ever so slightly over Great Britain into the final few strokes. They are almost dead level as they come through, but Japan just with an edge by about a canvas over Great Britain. Fantastic racing for those two, and a job well done as we await the times rolling in. Brazil, fantastic job of keeping in touch, especially with that toe-to-toe race happening just out of their sight, open water, back to Japan and Great Britain. It is Japan, though, to take it, and about a half a second behind them, Great Britain, followed by Brazil. Well, what a C final that was for the women's pair. We move on then to the men's pair. Mid-second quarter, approaching halfway with Venezuela and Hong Kong, China. Hong Kong, China up at the top of the field, about 30 meters or so separating them. And just a moment as our speed, our MIS system comes in, it is Venezuela can confirm at the halfway, leading over Hong Kong, China, and in fact, much closer than we first thought. So another stunner of a race coming through. It is Venezuela and Hong Kong, China toe-to-toe in the C final.
They're coming into the run-in towards the bridge, and just a two-boat race here. We had the medical withdrawal of Louis Descott Vigouroux in the stroke seat of the French pair, so it is just Hong Kong, China and Venezuela racing here in Final C. Under the bridge they go, leading it out. It is the crew from Venezuela. Maybe are losing touch now with the Hong Kong Chinese crew coming up in under the bridge. Very little between them. Very difficult as well to row a two-boat race, and they have the empty lanes between them as well. So they do have to have a little glance over to the left and right just to see how they're faring, as well as keeping the head down and rowing their own race. So it's a difficult combination here with just two boats coming in with about 600 meters to go. But it is a competitive race. There's very little between the two crews. Just in the last 100 meters, Hong Kong, China really pushing on a big push here. They're making their move and they're making it early. Let's see what response we have from the Venezuelan crew. We mentioned a lot of Latin American crews here visiting and getting race prep in preparation for the Central American Caribbean races that they're going to have in Santo Domingo. But through 500, it is going to be Hong Kong, China leading just by about a length of Clearwater ahead of Venezuela.
Bueno, esta final C de dosing absoluto masculino, solamente vemos a dos competiciones en escena, ya que la tripulación francesa, por razones médicos, pues ha habido una retirada, y tenemos que los competidores son el equipo de Hong Kong y el equipo de Venezuela. Hasta los 1250 metros había más paridad, iban más igualados, pero ahora ya parece que el equipo hongkonés, Chin Wong y Park Hong Chen, se están distanciando de los rivales.
So dominant display here by Hong Kong, China. They've opened up that clear water and they continue to push on here. They're not taking the foot off the gas in the run-in. They're coming up to the red buoys now and they look in full control here. The Venezuelan crew haven't been able to respond in the last 100 meters or so as they run in towards the finish. It's Hong Kong, China leading out final C of the men's pair.
Yeah, it was so close at halfway, and Hong Kong, China able to extend that advantage in the bow, Wong Qing, and in the stroke, Chen Pak Hong, the 21 and 20-year-olds having a fantastic end to this race.
Hubo regata hasta los 1000 metros, iban muy igualados los dos botos, Hong Kong y Venezuela. Después de los 1000 metros, Hong Kong mantuvo su punta de velocidad, 39-40 paladas, siempre con la misma velocidad. Venezuela se quedó un poquito atrás, más irregular, y eso marcó esta diferencia que ven ustedes en estos momentos.
So Hong Kong, China increasing the boat speed as they roll into the final stretch of this race, up to now 41 strokes per minute at the 500 to go, about 4 seconds separating these crews, and they've managed to open up that margin even more. Big finish for them and a job well done. Wong Qing, Chen Pak Hong, they'll be happy with that performance. And then just off the other side of them, it's the Venezuelan combination, Andre Mura and Jaime Machado, as they come through the line to take second in this C final of the men's pair.
Back to the action now. We have final C of the women's double sculls. They have gone through the 500-meter mark, and leading it out, it is France ahead of Slovenia, with Netherlands in third, Peru in fourth, and then New Zealand in fifth place. New Zealand, the only crew off the pace at the moment, some way back in fifth, but there's very little between the first leading crews as they went through. We'd expect to see France leading it out, and that's what they're doing. They were the fastest out of these boats that raced in the heats yesterday, and they're in that centre lane in lane 3. Through 500 metres, they were just ahead of the Slovenians in second place, Netherlands in third, and as you said, Peru. All those four crews overlapping, so not too much between them, but we have seen a big push come on from the Netherlands now, and they've the ones moved into the lead. So powerful 500 metres from the Netherlands sees them moving from third, and it looks like they might be coming up, but the French crew responding a little bit just through the halfway mark, and we're checking in. It is actually just on the surge. France holding on to the lead ahead of Netherlands, Slovenia in third, Peru in fourth, and New Zealand in fifth.
Esta final C del doble scull femenino nos está trayendo una regata bastante interesante, ya que el primer equipo, Francia, aventaja en un segundo y medio al equipo 3 de Holanda, y también muy de cerca seguido en tercera posición a la tripulación de Eslovenia. Estos tres equipos van más distanciados ya del equipo de Perú, que estaría
un poquito más lejos de los eslovenos, y Nueva Zelanda, que también está ahí luchando por alcanzar a Perú, y ya veremos qué pasa en los próximos metros. De momento sigue comandando Francia la regata y ahí seguimos.
So just checking the details as they come under the bridge as well. I think the New Zealand crew have made a big push here and are coming back into the mix for second and third. So a really solid 500 metres from them, and sees them maybe moving into second place, having been fifth earlier on in the first 1,000 metres. Through the bridge they go, some roars cheering them on from the crowds that are up there as they make their way. Just about 600 metres to go. Still leading it out, centre of the course. It is the French pair of Herskovich and Beauvais, bow and stroke of the French crew. Centre lanes, New Zealand continue to power on and try get back in touch and get a little bit of an overlap. And then on the enclosure side, we have the Slovenian crew along with the crew from the Netherlands trying to get back in touch. And then we have the twins from Peru, Alicia and Valeria Palacios, back in fifth place, a little bit further back and not having overlap with the crews. Through 500 to go. It is France leading it out just by a little bit of clear water, ahead of New Zealand now in second place. In third, it is the crew from Slovenia, just holding off the Dutch in fourth. And as I say that, a huge push here from Peru sees them get an overlap for fourth.
Sigue el equipo francés dominando la regata, pero hemos visto una gran subida del equipo neozelandés, que ha pasado prácticamente de estar en cuarta posición a la segunda, habiendo rebasado a Eslovenia y al equipo neerlandés. Parece ser que habrá una dura pugna por el segundo puesto. El primero ya parece que está asegurado para Francia, salvo una sorpresa no esperada.
So really exciting finish here, but it's going with form so far with the French crew leading it out. They did all that hard work in the early 1,000 metres, holding it through to the second 1,000 metres as well. They're leading ahead of New Zealand with a powerful 500 to see them move from fifth place up into second. Let's see what they have, and will they run out of water coming into those red boys to get back in touch with France?
Yeah, France having just the exact race, I'm sure, that they wanted to. Claire Bove in the stroke seat and Le Escovici in the bow seat, up at 38 strokes per minute. But the Kiwis kick it up to 40.
Sí, tenemos la calle 3, a Francia en primera posición, pero vemos a Nueva Zelanda que hizo unos segundos metros muy espectaculares. Está a 41 paladas por minuto, intentando mantener esa segunda posición, y un poquito a medio bote tenemos a Eslovenia en tercera posición, acercándonos ya a los últimos 50 metros. Nueva Zelanda sigue a 41, 39 para Francia, 38 para Eslovenia.
Well, the French are coming through in their final stretch. They've increased the boat speed, able to hold on to that position. But look at the Kiwis go. The Kiwis up at 42 strokes per minute. That's Ignat Johnson and Hoffmans of New Zealand able to hold on to that second place position despite that charge from Slovenia there at the end. So Slovenia increasing their boat speed as well, but capturing that third place position. So that's the 1, 2, 3. A job well done to France. That was the C final of the women's double. From the women then on to the men, we move into the men's double sculls as they move past that 750-meter mark. Early goings, but looking quite good, I think, Richie, for Croatia.
An unfamiliar sight to see the Sinkovic brothers racing in a C final. I saw on their social media they said maybe they were having too much fun in Seville and doing too much talking, that they are racing now in the C final, but they said they're going to give it their all, and that's what they're doing, because they're leading it out through 500 and now through the halfway mark. Right behind them, though, in second place, the neutral athletes, and they've come back. It's just 0.2 of a second, so on the surge, Croatia leading ahead of the neutral athletes, very much in touch as well. It's the Swiss crew back in third place, ahead then of New Zealand, Lithuania and Germany back in fourth, fifth and sixth. So halfway down, looking good for the Sinkovic's, but they're not having it their own way, because the neutral athletes and Switzerland all within half a length coming through that all-important halfway marker.
Bueno, vemos en esta final C de doble scull cómo están los grandes remeros croatas, los hermanos Sinkovic, que lo han ganado prácticamente todo, tanto en dosing como en doble scull, pero que en esta Copa del Mundo se han visto relegados a esta final C. Ahora mismo pues van encabezando la regata, pero seguido muy de cerca del equipo de atletas individuales. Ya de ahí también cerca el equipo de Suiza 2, que estaría a menos de un segundo de ellos al paso de los 1000 metros, y ya se van aproximando a los 1250 metros.
So a really tight race coming up to just 600 meters to go. The lead changing numerous times between Croatia and the neutral athletes. They're side by side in lanes 4 and 5, so they're having a real tussle here. And also the crew from Switzerland staying in touch. And now we're seeing New Zealand trying to make a move and get back in, but it's all about the leaders here. Croatia, they go again in lift. They're trying to move out to more of a lead, and they've opened it up to about a canvas. So Croatia go through, leading it out, a canvas from the crew then on their inside, the neutral athletes. Again, there's an overlap to the Swiss back in third, and in turn the New Zealand are overlapping, but I think they mightn't have too much left in the tank for get back in touch with the early leaders. Back then to Lithuania and Germany in 5th and 6th, but no doubt about the leaders here. Croatia now power on again. They're trying to open up that 3-meter lead ahead of the neutral athletes, so that tussle that they were having over the last few 100 meters seems to have dissipated, and the Sinkoviches, we're seeing why they're so successful. Over 50 international medals coming out, and they're laying it down here in the final C of the men's double. Into the finish line we go, leading it out just about. Let's see what sprint finish the neutral athletes have.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on what they've got left. But the Sinkovich brothers, they've been in this position before. They know one another. And, well, they're putting on quite a finish as they come into the closing stages, now pushing away the individual neutral athletes.
Sí, tenemos a Croacia por la calle 4 con una ligera ventaja sobre los atletas independientes. Para ambos botes, Croacia en estos momentos a 41 paladas, atletas independientes 39. Y parece ser que Croacia ha puesto un poquito de diferencia con la segunda posición, con los atletas independientes a falta de 50 metros para la llegada.
Well, they're running out of time, the individual neutral athletes, because the Sinkovich brothers are taking on the sprint, increasing their stroke rate once again, and coming through the finish. We see a little look there in the bow seat from Martin Sinkovich, and they've crossed first in this C final. So, as Richie told us, not exactly where they want to be, but making the best of their last race in this first World Cup. It's exactly what they've done. The individual neutral athletes then taking second, followed by Switzerland. Well, we move on then to the men's 4. This is the C final, and it's a 2-boat race with Germany 2 and Czechia, Richie, moving through the second quarter.
Coming up towards the halfway mark, and it was the German crew who were leading through 500. We're going to check and see how they're doing now. They still have a little bit of a lead ahead of Czechia. Czechia were the faster of the two crews in the heats yesterday. They raced in different heats. Czechia racing in heat 2, finishing 5th out of 5. The Germans 4th out of 4 in the third heat, but it was the Czechia crew had that faster time. But it's the Germans at the moment who are opening up the lead through the halfway mark. The lead not extending. If anything, the Czechia crew have come back on the German crew in the last 500 meters, and it's under a second separating the two of them, so about a length separating the two on that halfway mark. They'll be coming up towards the bridge, and again some encouragement there. Great to see the crowds out encouraging everyone as they make their way down. It's a nice lift. There's some pontoons as well out dotted around on the enclosure side, and we see crowds coming out to watch the races there and cheer them on. So it's great to have the city centre location to have such interactive racing with the crowds here as well. through the bridge they go, and the Czechia crew really putting on a push here, but the Germans are responding, and I think it's down now to just about 2 meters separating the two crews under the bridge, and the Germans tried to make their move there at the 500-meter mark, but a really solid response here from Czechia sees them come up almost within a third of a length and down to about 600 to go. There's all to play for here with Czechia on a charge.
Final del 400 en la que tenemos a dos equipos, Alemania 2 y Chequia, que están realmente haciendo una regata súper disputada. Ahora mismo, ya cuando se van acercando al paso de los 1500, la distancia de 2 metros, prácticamente no se puede decir quién va a ganar porque se prevé un final muy duro. Ahora mismo parece ser que está un metro adelantada Alemania, pero desde luego Chequia le va a plantar cara al equipo alemán. Es una regata que va a ser muy cerrada o el final.
This is a real dogfight here from a very determined German crew who are managing to hold on to the lead just by half a canvas when they came through the 500-meter mark. But that Czechia crew, they're relentless in their search to get the win here. They're powering on and powering on, up at 40 strokes per minute. The Germans now up at 40 strokes as well. So they're matching each other on stroke rate, but the faster boat out there still is the German crew, and they're starting just to hold on to that canvas lead, but a canvas coming in with 250 meters to go is no cushion to be comfortable at all. The Czechia crew charge and charge and charge, and Colleen, as they come into those red buoys, all to play for. Can the Germans hold on, or will Czechia find another gear?
It's been a courageous race for Czechia, with 3 of the 4 athletes in this boat returning from last year's 4 that raced at the World Champs. They're still holding on to the Germans, but the Germans lead.
Sí, tenemos 2 momentos, a falta 200 metros por la llegada, Alemania con una ventaja de medio bote sobre Chequia. Ha sido una regata muy disputada durante los 1750 metros y en estos momentos parece ser que Alemania ha tomado una ligera ventaja a 41 paladas por minuto.
Absolutely incredible as they sprint towards the line, nearly dead level as we get a sense. It is Germany just over Czechia. Germany with the response. Germany with about a seat or 2 over Czechia. Absolutely phenomenal finish. A valiant fight for both of these crews, especially this Czech combination. Again, 3 of the 4 returning from the World Championship 4 that they raced last year, and a great race the entire way down the track. It is Germany followed by Czechia. Well, we're mid-second quarter for the men's quadruple sculls, and it's looking good for New Zealand and perhaps, Richie, a 2-boat race?
Another 2-boat race. Unfortunately, we had a medical withdrawal of the Irish crew, Andrew Sheehan from the Irish boat. Hope he's okay. Wish him a speedy recovery. So they are not racing. It's disappointing. They would have been the faster out of the 3 crews here from the heats yesterday. So we're down now to Venezuela and New Zealand. The Venezuelan crews, a lot of them are doubling up here. They're racing also in the mixed double and in the singles as well. So they've got a lot of racing to do this weekend. But also the New Zealand crew, part of the crew have raced under 23, so some international experience there. When they came through the 500-meter mark, it was the New Zealand crew leading ahead of Venezuela by just under 2.5 seconds. But in the last 500, the New Zealand crew have really opened up the lead there. There's now over 10 seconds separating the crew, so a lot of clear water between them in final C of the men's quadruple sculls. New Zealand in full control, it looks like here, with Ben Olivers in the bow seat, Oscar Rustin in 2, Callum Tutbury in the 3. three seed in Ari Rasmussen Magsiva in the stroke seat, coached by Gary Roberts. So they're leading out ahead of the Venezuelan crew, just coming up under the bridge now. And with clear water, you have that advantage of being able to roll your own race here. They can focus on getting a nice clean run in, down to the track towards the finish line. They're under the bridge now as the Venezuelans just approach it, but New Zealand in full control.
Final C del 4 Cool, en la que ha causado baja el equipo irlandés por encontrarse, por razones médicas, la baja de uno de sus componentes, y nos hemos quedado con dos tripulaciones, la de Nueva Zelanda, que va comandando la regata de una manera bastante clara, y luego tenemos a Venezuela, que va más rezagada. La diferencia es, ahora van al paso de los 1500 metros, pues es bastante elevada. Es una regata que, bueno, pues no va a tener color, simplemente pues que cada uno dé lo mejor de sí, que es la esencia de nuestro deporte. Se va a hacer con la primera posición Nueva Zelanda y con esto acabamos la finales C.
So they make their way down in towards the finish. It's more than 100 meters of clear water ahead of the Venezuelans. They look like they are taking the foot off the gas here. They are just paddling down, maybe holding off because they know they have doubling up races in the other ones, but they're still powering on and making their way through the last 500. There's more than 100 meters separating the two crews though, and in full control, New Zealand power on. They're still rating up at 38, 39 strokes per minute, so they're out there doing their thing and leading well. Into the red boys they go, and I think, Colleen, dominant display from New Zealand, but maybe those Venezuelan quad are holding off for the double-up races that they have to get through.
Yeah, it'd be a bit of a smart strategy, wouldn't it, in these closing stages. This New Zealand combination, though, impressive. It's a young combination. So the bow pair, Ben Olivas and Oscar Rustin, just 22 years old. The stern pair, Callum Tutbury and Ari Rasmussen Magaresiva, 23 years old. So a young combo and doing a great effort, great job as they come through the final stages at 40 strokes per minute.
Efectivamente, con la cómoda ventaja que lleva Nueva Zelanda sobre Venezuela, siguen a 40 paradas, 42. Deben intentar hacer un buen tiempo, hacer 100% de su regata. Entrada de Nueva Zelanda en primera posición y atrás llega la tripulación de Venezuela.
Venezuela in their final 20 strokes or so. They've lengthened out to 26. So indeed, that is their strategy, as Richie mentioned, perhaps just to conserve a bit of energy as they look toward the rest of their regatta. Jonas Diaz, just 21 years old in the bow seat. And he'll be first across the line for this Venezuelan combination. Jackson Vicente Monastireo in the two seat just ahead of them. That's the horn. Cesar Amariz and Joye Gepa in the stroke seat. Well, let's head to the grandstand where Paulino Garcia is with some Spanish fans. And Paulino, a Spanish flag that's hard to miss?
Hello, Colleen. Here we are with the biggest Spain flag here in the rowing Seville venue. Here we are. Buenas tardes, buenos días. Vaya pedazo de bandera, ¿no?
Digo, aquí nuestro amigo Trini nos ha cedido la bandera que es del Castillo de Tarara y viene perfecta para un evento como este.
Bueno, ¿cómo estáis viviendo la Copa del Mundo aquí en Sevilla, en nuestra ciudad?
La verdad que viendo la lámina de agua, la infraestructura que tenemos aquí en Sevilla, está saliendo un campeonato de maravilla y mucho con el equipo español que vamos a por todas.
Eso es, ¿qué esperáis? ¿Esperáis alguna medalla final? ¿Cómo veis al equipo español?
Sí, bueno, hay bastantes opciones de que algunos de los botes que participan consigan medallas y finales esperamos que haya por lo menos 4 o 5 seguros.
Okay, here we are with the biggest Spain flag that I have ever seen in my life. They have, for a friend, they acquired for this, and they hope the Spain team wins some medal here in Seville. The rowing course, the best rowing course in the world, maybe so hot here, but There is 10:30 to 10:30 yet, so we'll see if Spain acquires the finals for tomorrow. See you. Hi everyone, here I am in the merchandising World Rowing store here where you can buy wherever you want, all the souvenirs here, bracelet, some Spanish flags, and on the country flags with the key things, something bell too, so come here, come spend your money, all your money here in the World Rowing store because okay, because all the people want to know a souvenir from the World Rowing Cup here in Seville. So here we are. Come join us. Spend your money here, man. So come here.
Just about 5 minutes to go to the start of racing, the second half of the morning. It's this time for the semifinals in Seville, with coveted places in Sunday's A finals up for grabs. The margins, of course, get smaller, the pressure gets bigger, and here's a quick look at all that we can look forward to come. 5 minutes to go.
Estamos a 5 minutos de las finales, de las grandes semifinales. Como hemos dicho al principio de la mañana, hoy es un día muy importante porque 3 botes de cada semifinal pasan a las finales de mañana. El ambiente está más tenso, hay gran expectación y esperemos 1 hora y media de grandes regatas.
So that's the start of the women's single sculls underway. It's semi-final one with Australia 1, Tara Rigney, the Netherlands 3, Bente Boonstra. Out of lane 3, it's Great Britain, Lauren Henry. Lane 4 is Ireland, Fiona Murta, Emma Lunati of France, and Bianca Camila Ifteni of Romania. It's a clean start, early goings, just waiting for our speed data to come in, but we're riding now with Emma Lunati of France, who's had a good early start.
Tenemos ya la primera semifinal del skiff de mujeres. Por la calle 1 Australia, calle 2 Nueva Netherlands, por la calle 3 Gran Bretaña, calle 4 Irlanda, calle 5 Francia, calle 6 Rumanía. Estamos los primeros 400 metros y, como se prevé, una bonita regata muy igualada. Esperamos el paso de 500 metros.
Well, it's first 3 to the final A, still in the early goings, not quite yet at that first timing marker. But again, Emma Lunati of France able to hold on to the advantage as we ride there just for a moment with Bente Boonstra of the Netherlands. And, well, France with a good advantage, I'd say. Great Britain and Australia one closest to France. Australia looking to make a bit of a push. That's Tara Rigney, of course, a name that we know quite well. As we approach the first 500-meter mark, early goings, but yeah, it continues to be France.
Yeah, the French sculler was trying to lay down a marker there in the early start to this race. Previously raced in the double sculls last year, 5th at the World Championships in that race. But now racing in the single here and coming through 500, just about holding on the lead to come through that marker. Lunati of France ahead of Tara Rigney, making her return after some years of absence, coached by Alfie Young here. Now in second place ahead of Lauren Henry in third, Fiona Murta back in fourth. Bente Boonstra in the 5th position ahead of the youngest competitor in the overall field on the women's single sculls, Ifteni of Romania, just 19 years of age here among the seniors and the greats of a single rowing in the semi-final of the women's single scull. Leading out continues to be the French sculler. This is a really ambitious and powerful display from Emma Lunati. She's laying down the marker and saying to the others, if you want to qualify for the final, you're going to have to come up against me, because she's pushing out to a lead, but not having it her own way, because Great Britain and Australia are the two that are very in touch and coming up to challenge for that lead as we come up to the halfway mark. So it's still France leading it out. Great Britain now moving into second place. Lauren Henry making her move and moving past Tara Rigney, but Tara Rigney very much still in touch as well. These three starting to move away from the chasing patch, and as I say that, Fiona Murta of Ireland starts to eat back into the little bit of a lead the three leading crews had coming up to the halfway mark to maintain contact.
Primera eliminatoria del skiff femenino, donde nos encontramos ahora mismo. La regata va comandada por la francesa Emma Lunati, seguida muy de cerca por la australiana Tara Rigney. Y bueno, es esta semifinal, una semifinal de lujo. No en vano compite Lara Henry de Gran Bretaña, actual subcampeona del mundo en esta modalidad, y la irlandesa Fiona Murta, que bueno, pues es la actual campeona del mundo en skiff. Y son dos grandes competidoras y desde luego van a poner un punto máximo a una semifinal que se promete muy competida y muy interesante.
So a little bit of change as they came through the halfway mark. We see Lauren Henry of Great Britain move into the lead, taking the lead from Emma Lunati, moving from third place through 500 up now to lead at the halfway mark. Emma Lunati just behind in second place for France. Fiona Murta moving from fourth into third as well, staying in touch and passing out Tara Rigney, who's now pushed down into fourth place ahead of Boonstra of Netherlands and Ifteni of Romania back in 5th and 6th. Those two scullers, a little bit of clear water opening up in 5th and 6th, so they're going to have to go now if they want to get back into contention with the 4 crews that are looking for 3 qualifying spots. As Colleen had said, it's not times that qualify here, it's the 3 positions, and we've 4 scullers battling it out. Still Lauren Henry leads. She's looking to move away from the chasing pack, and she's opened up a little bit of cushion now back to France in second place, Fiona Murta, and France really battling it out for second there. Tara Rigney has some work to do if she's going to get back and challenge Ireland or France in for that qualifying spots, but we're starting to see it open up now with 3 crews centre of the course, going with form here. We're seeing Great Britain, Ireland and France looking good for those 3 spots.
Ya aproximándose a los 1500 metros, vemos como la británica Henry Lauren, que ya comentamos con anterioridad, que es la actual subcampeón del mundo en esta modalidad, pues va imponiendo su poderío con una remada fácil, fuerte, muy relajada adelante, potente atrás, y parece que se va ya enseñando la popa a las demás tripulaciones, seguida muy de cerca por la tripulación irlandesa, que iría en tercera posición, y la francesa, que serían en principio las 3 tripulaciones que parece que accederían a la final A en estas primeras semifinal del esquí senior.
So through 500 they went, and Lauren Henry, dominant last year's season, multiple gold medals and of course a silver medal at the World Championship. She leads it out and she's got a good bit of clear water back to the French sculler Emma Lunati, still holding on, our early leader in second place ahead of Fiona Murta. These 3 starting to push away now from Australia, Netherlands and Romania, so it's turning into a 2-tier race here as they approach 2:50 to go. Colleen looking good and going with form. Great Britain, France and Ireland looking to secure those first 3 spots.
Yeah, Lauren Henry with such an answer. She took a gold in Paris in the women's quad. That experience paying off. She's up at 38 strokes per minute, and she's been able to answer both France and Ireland and push away.
Tenemos en primera posición a Gran Bretaña con una ligera ventaja, un bote de diferencia sobre Francia, que está manteniendo la segunda posición, y atentos al tercer puesto entre Irlanda y Australia. También les diferencia un bote y los últimos 250 metros van a ser espectaculares para esa segunda y tercera plaza.
Well, it was Emma Lunati with a big first quarter, but indeed Great Britain has managed to overhaul her. Lauren Henry showing no sign of slowing down. Top 3 to advance on to the A final. So this is the absolute last chance to have an opportunity for the medals. And well, Lauren Henry, no doubt about it. She's making sure that she'll be one to cross through first. Just off of her, though, continues to be France, Ireland as well. And that's the 1, 2, 3 at the moment. And we see Lauren Henry just do a little glance, look for that finish line. She's first to go through. Fantastic performance, followed by Emma Lunati of France and Fiona Murta of Ireland. So a job well done. That's the top 3 to get into the A final. Well, from semi-final 1 to semi-final 2 for the women's single sculls, who will join Great Britain, France, and Ireland on the course now? Richie, it's the second semi-final.
Well underway and through 500 metres. We did see Janssen of Switzerland lead at the start coming up, but coming through that 500 metre mark, Euste de Jong has just made a move into the lead. So it is Netherlands leading it out from Switzerland. Then we have the Lithuanians, Sculler Senkuta in 3rd, ahead of Foster, Germany in 4th, Gilbert of Belgium in 5th, and Zovner of the neutral athletes in 6th place. Just a couple of seconds separating 1st to 6th. So it's very similar to the previous heat that we saw, and it's starting to open up again now into a 2-tier race, we think. Coming through the halfway mark, it is Netherlands, de Jong leading it out ahead of Senkuta, who's now moved from 3rd into 2nd place. Foster of Germany moving from 4th into 3rd. These 3 starting to push away from Switzerland, Belgium and the neutral athletes and open up, as I said, a little bit of clear water, and similar to semi-final 1 where we saw Great Britain, France and Ireland in the second half of the race move ahead into the second half of this race. It looks like the same story with Netherlands, Lithuania and Germany looking good. Question is, what response can we see from Switzerland, Belgium and neutral athletes?
Bueno, estamos aquí con una interesantísima segunda semifinal de este esquí senior femenino, en la que vemos que la primera posición está ahora mismo en manos de la la de Países Bajos, Roos de Jong, que fue campeona del mundo en doble school en Shanghai 2025, lo cual ya viene a demostrar el enorme nivel que ella tiene. En segunda posición, muy cerca, estaría Victorija Senkute de Lituania, que bueno, fue bronce en la medalla en esquife en París 2024. Y bueno, en tercera posición iría la alemana Alexandra Foester, que también parece ser que está consolidando ese tercer puesto que le daría acceso a la final A.
They've gone through the bridge and approaching the 500 meters to go, and it is still the Netherlands and Lithuania battling it out. Victoria Senkuta of Lithuania, won that, came fourth in the World Championship last year. I'm sure she'll look to get onto the medal podium to kick off her 2026 season. And she's leading it out now by half a length ahead of De Jong of the Netherlands. Of course, De Jong, winner of the women's double last year at the World Championships, as well as a silver medalist in the mixed double the first time the event was run. And she is just half a length. She's maintaining contact. She's starting to push on and make back in contact with Lithuania. So Lithuania and Netherlands pushing each other on, opening up clear water. Foster of Germany a little bit further back in third place and coming under increased pressure from Gilbert of Belgium. But as they run into about 300 metres to go, still looking good. And we've a real tussle here between Senkuta and De Jong. Senkuta leading it out, but being challenged each and every stroke by Joos De Jong as they run in towards the finish.
Roos de Jong, second in the women's quad at the Olympic Games in Paris. The 32-year-old keeping in really good touch with the Lithuanian, but Senkute leads.
Tenemos a Lituania y a Holanda, Netherlands luchando por la primera plaza y muy emocionante también la tercera plaza entre Alemania y Bélgica. Hay una pequeña diferencia a favor de Alemania, pero veremos qué pasa en los últimos 250 metros.
Lithuania, Senkute continuing to hold about a 1 meter advantage there toe-to-toe as they come through the line. 3 qualifying spots. It's still looking good for Germany, but Germany just behind them under pressure from Belgium. Belgium doing everything they can, Guibert, to get back into contention for what could be an A final opportunity. Up at the top of the field, though, is it Lithuania? Is it the Netherlands?
Bélgica sigue intentando en estos momentos. Hay muy poca diferencia respecto, 3 metros, 4 metros respecto a Alemania. Va a ser unos últimos 100 metros muy apurados, muy bonitos. La primera y segunda plaza entre Lituania y Holanda está garantizada. Y vean ustedes la llegada por la tercera posición que te daría el pase a la gran final.
Senkuta, De Jong, toe-to-toe as they come through the line, almost absolutely level. We'll wait for the unofficial times in just a moment. And just behind them, is it Germany? Is it Belgium? Absolutely incredible racing. And we'll get the results there in just a moment. But what an effort from Alexander Foster at the end. That's the 1-2. Fantastic rating. Senkuta, De Jong, and indeed Foster will join them in the A final. Sensational for that semi-final 2 of the women's single. Well, we move on from the women's single sculls to the men's single sculls, Richie.
Already through 500 metres, and Olli Zeidler of Germany is leading this one out, and through the 1,000 metres he holds onto that lead and extends it. Hull of Norway has now moved from 4th place into 2nd. McCarthy of Ireland moving from 5th into 3rd. So in that last 500 all changed. It's Germany leading from Norway, Ireland in 3rd. Romania had been 2nd through 500, now pushed back into 4th place. Belgium Van der Boos goes from 6th into 5th, and 3rd place through 500. 5 for Slovenia now pushed into 6th place. So similar to the other races we're seeing in the semi-finals of the women's single, the men's single, they're stretching out. No doubt about the leader in full control. Olli Zeidler of Germany, 36 strokes per minute, and opened up more than a 7-second advantage ahead of the chasing pack. Hull of Norway probably having the better of the races then to lead into 2nd place, looking to secure the spot. And at the moment, McCarthy and Chiruta of Ireland and Romania really are the ones that are going to be battling out for that 3rd spot, and within striking distance, the Belgian sculler as well. It has an overlap of both Ireland and Romania to come up and challenge for that. They've gone through the bridge now and they're approaching about 600 metres to go. Germany leading it out, but it's really 3 boats between Norway, Ireland and Romania battling it out for 2 qualifying spots.
Primera semifinal del skiff, en el que vemos que el alemán Oliver Ziedler que bueno, es actual campeón olímpico en París y subcampeón del mundo en Shanghái en 2025, pues está ganando la semifinal con bastante facilidad. Luego tenemos en segunda posición al esquifista noruego, Jonas Juel, después tenemos al irlandés McCarthy. Estos tres parece que estarían claramente dentro, aunque para la tercera y cuarta posición pues sí es verdad que está una lucha entre el belga y el irlandés. Y ya en quinta y sexta posición el rumano y el esloveno están un poco más retrasados. O sea, las dos primeras posiciones parece que están claras, la tercera y cuarta estarán luchando por entrar a la semifinal A y veremos quién lo hace.
This is turning into a race for third because Germany and Norway well established in first and second and looking to get those qualifying spots. All the action right under your eyes there, Colleen, as they come in towards the tower, because it is between Belgium and Ireland to get that third qualifying spot. Less than half a canvas separating them. Who's got the better sprint finish?
Yeah, well, the Irish are known for their sprint finishes, aren't they? But Belgium does currently lead. Tristan van der Busche holding on to the advantage over Ireland, up at 40 strokes per minute.
Si tenemos en primera posición a Alemania, claramente, y ahora está la lucha por la tercera y cuarta posición entre Bélgica y Irlanda. Vemos el esquifista de Noruega que mantiene esa segunda posición. Cuidado también con Bélgica, que está atacando por esa segunda posición en estos momentos. Linda regata, veremos la clasificación. Hay muy poca diferencia entre Bélgica, Irlanda y Noruega por esas dos plazas en la final.
Juel of Norway holding on to that second qualifying spot, but under pressure from Belgium. Van der Busche has had a phenomenal last couple of 100 meters. We see our leader, Ollie Zeidler, up on the screen. Absolutely untouchable up at the top of the field. But yes, 3 qualifying spots and all of these boats in contention. Germany holds. It looks like Norway will just hang on, but will he be overhauled by the Belgian as they come through the line? It is Ollie Zeidler, for second and third, nearly dead at level, which pushes Ireland out. It is Norway to take second. Phenomenal racing from Jonas Juel, and just fantastic as we see the time flash up there for Ollie Zeidler. It is Norway then to advance on. Ireland will just miss out with Tristan van der Busche capturing the third qualifying position. Fast and furious to the second semi-final of the men's singles sculls, and individual neutral athlete. It's looking really good at the moment, Richie. That's Zalate. Perhaps no surprise to see that name there.
Yeah, our bronze medalist from last year's World Championship has taken control of this race coming through 500, but it's a much closer semi-final to the one that we've just seen where there was some of the crews split out. They're coming towards the 1,000 metres, so we'll get a bearing on it then, but still centre of the course, lane 4, it is Zalate, the neutral athlete, leading it out ahead of Uruguay, Satrara Berlio in second place, and then the Spanish sculler in the mix coming through 500 in third, ahead of Portugal, Goncalves, in fourth, the youngest competitor in this second semi-final. The Spanish sculler moving into second place, and now we're seeing Denmark, Zecher, move into third. They're the 1, 2 and 3. Uruguay moves from second down to fourth in the last 500 metres. Lithuania further back in fifth place ahead of Goncalves now, who gets pushed down into sixth. These two scullers, a little bit of work to do if they're going to get back into the mix, but it's all about Zalate here. He's leading it as they pass towards the bridge in full control, but Garcia of Spain, Zecher of Germany, Sertraro of Uruguay, and Nevervikus of Lithuania, all within striking distance. Goncalves with a little bit of work to do to get back in contention with the leaders.
Regata muy competida, donde el atleta independiente está ahora mismo en primera posición y un segundo después pues ya viene el español Aleix García y Puyolar, que está un segundo de la primera posición, y prácticamente va de la mano del danés Bastien Secker. Van muy igualados, y ya en cuarta posición iría el uruguayo Bruno Zerraro, el lituano en quinta posición y el portugués en sexta posición. No obstante, la regata está siendo muy competida y veremos a ver al final quién va a la final A y quién va a la final B.
Huge support on the bridge here as the scullers came through for the local Spanish sculler who was holding on to second place, and now they're just approaching 500 to go. All overlapping, much more tighter race than we saw in the previous semi-final. It's still Zalati leading it out. He's just about a length ahead of Spain in second place, but we're saying Lithuania really powering on. Lithuania just half a canvas back in third. It's a canvas back then to Secher of Denmark. Claves has eaten back to come back into contention. It's Uruguay is the only sculler now in lane 6. Looks like he's running into trouble. So down they go to just over 350 metres to go. Zalati in control, centre of the course. But again, we have a race for second and third to see who's going to join Germany, Norway and Belgium. It's between Spain, Lithuania, Denmark and Portugal. And again, another close race for you to call, Colleen. All eyes on those lanes. Spain, Lithuania, Denmark and Portugal.
Yeah, Zalati having a fantastic showing. He took silver at the last Olympic Games. This is his event. But for that qualifying position, yes, Spain, hometown folks will be delighted to know Spain in the mix. Lithuania running third.
Excelente regata. Tenemos muy claro la primera posición y están luchando por las dos plazas para la final. Tenemos a Leitch, que es en este momento ocupando la segunda posición, muy cerca. Tenemos a Lituania y Dinamarca. Ahora la grada tiene que ayudar, tiene que animar, tiene que ayudar a que España se clasifique por la final. Que ruja esa grada, por favor.
Garcia Porzalar of Spain moving through just about 5 or so, 6 meters ahead, and in fact continuing to push Lithuania back. Absolutely stunning finish for the Spaniard, increasing boat speed up now at 44 strokes per minute.
Exactamente, están ayudando a que sucedan cosas. España en estos momentos en segunda posición, atacando incluso la primera posición, y vamos a ver la tercera entre Portugal, entre Lituania. En este momento España asegura la segunda posición, Lituania y Dinamarca.
Absolute exhaustion. You see Dovydas Nemiravicius on the far side, lay back in his boat, the Lithuanian. He's done the job. Zalati, though, has done it in style. First across the line. He's delighted, as he should be, with that performance. And Garcia Puzolar happy as well, as he'll advance on to the A final, with the Lithuanian then taking third. Fantastic semi-final. Absolutely thrilling, as they so often are. So rowing is a sport for life, and Paulino is down in the grandstand to say more on that.
Hello everyone, hi everyone, hola a todos. Estoy ahora mismo con José Franco, el remero más mayor de España, el veterano. Buenos días, Pepe Franco. ¿Cuántos años tiene usted?
82.
¿Y cuántos años lleva remando?
Pues llevo remé en mi juventud de los 18 a los 20 y tantos, y ahora llevo remando desde el 98. Desde el 98.
Desde el 98. ¿Y cómo encuentras la motivación para levantarte? A mí me han dicho que entrenas 3 días a la semana, ¿puede ser? Lunes, miércoles y viernes. ¿Cómo encuentras la motivación para todavía seguir remando?
No es motivación, es una necesidad. Para mí el deporte y sobre todo el remo es una necesidad. Es parte de mi alimentación. Ya ese tema lo he comentado en algunas entrevistas que me han hecho. Lo necesito. Mi cuerpo necesita movimiento y el remo es genial.
He was around until 98. He stopped 2 years, but he's like 40 years rowing now. He told me that he don't need motivation. For him, it's mandatory to do rowing. It's part of his life, part of his entire living. So he don't need motivation. He just go 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and he's enjoying his best life with 82 years, Pepe Franco.
Well, back on the course, the action continues. Richie, they're moving through the third quarter, and it's good news for the Aussies.
Good news for the Aussies in semi-final one of the women's pair. And again, 3 crews to qualify here. When they came through the 500-metre mark, it was the neutral athletes that were actually leading it out ahead of Australia. But I think it was just on the surge. They're so close to each other, as indeed were the New Zealand crew. There was just 0.4 of a second separating the first 3 crews. And then we have the Abraham sisters, part of a quadruplets, 2 boys and 2 girls. But it's the Abraham sisters that lead the charge for Chile in their rowing side. The Lithuanians back in 5th place ahead then of Denmark in 6th. The 4 crews that are in the mix for the qualifying spots into the final, though, through the halfway mark, Australia, we mentioned, move into the lead, and now we see Chile move from 4th into 2nd, looking to secure that 2nd spot, and taking with them the Lithuanians, who move from 5th into 3rd. New Zealand push back into 4th place. The neutral athletes are early leaders and now back in 5th place, and it's Denmark holding up in 6th. So a little bit of change in the last 500. We see Australia and Chile making their move and looking to establish a lead. They're taking with them the Lithuanian crew, and these might be the 3 that are starting to move away from the chasing pack as they come up towards the bridge. Looking good so far for the 3 spots: Australia, Chile and Lithuania.
Primera semifinal del dosing femenino, que nos está departiendo una regata realmente competida. En primera posición iría Australia, seguida de las hermanas Abraham de Chile. Lituania en tercera posición, Nueva Zelanda en cuarta, atletas individuales en quinta y sexta Dinamarca. Pero vemos que está siendo una regata realmente apretada, muy apretada, sobre todo para la segunda posición a la cuarta. Están prácticamente en 1 segundo y medio. Lo cual va a hacer a priori un final muy apretado, y veremos quién va a la final A y quién va a la final B.
So a lot of new combinations racing here. The Lithuanians, probably the most established of the pairs racing, having reached a number of B finals. We've new combinations then from Australia, and of course the Chileans, 7th in the world last year. I'm sure they'll be eyeing up that A final, if not a medal. Coming up with 500 metres to go. These 3 crews push out ahead of New Zealand neutral athletes in Denmark, and the running order coming through 500. It is Chile leading from Australia. So Chile moving into the lead ahead of the crew from Australia. Lithuania in 3rd, half a length, half a length, half a length. What a way to come down the track in semi-final 1 of the women's pairs. Clearwater then back to the neutral athletes and to New Zealand. So they have a bit of comfort and cushion. It's all about making sure that they just stay secure, get that qualifying spot. No heroics here. You can save that for the final and leave maybe a little bit into the tank. See what response are coming from the neutral athletes and from New Zealand to come back and put them under pressure with just over 250 metres to go. Looking good and timed to perfection here in the second half of the race. Chile leading it out from Australia and Lithuania.
Yeah, we love to see the Abrams sisters from Chile. They were 9th at the Olympic Games in this very event. This is their event, and they're making their mark up at 38 strokes per minute. Behind them, open water, then back to Australia and a charging Lithuania.
Tenemos en primera posición la tripulación de Chile, muy bien remado, con una bote de ventaja sobre la segunda y tercera posición, que están muy ajustados entre Australia y Lituania por esa segunda posición.
Lithuania slips ahead just barely of the Aussies, but those 2 going toe for toe. Up at the top of the field continues to be Chile, 3 to advance on to the A final. Chile holding that spot, Lithuania looking good, and then it puts the Aussies in 3rd.
Chile está aumentando su remada, está tomando claramente la distancia, y ahora mismo está la lucha por la segunda posición entre Australia, que mantiene, parece que Lituania en segunda posición, y Chile, con una muy buena remada, va a ganar esta semifinal y estará presente en la final de mañana.
Well, the Abrams sisters have it as Lithuania decidedly takes that 2nd place position. The Aussies will go through as well with a solid 3rd place finish. What a sprint, though, from the Lithuanians. We'll have to keep an eye on them in the A final. But for now, the job is done. It is Chile, Lithuania, and Australia. Well, 600 meters or so gone for the second semifinal of the women's pair, and looking like another tight one up at the top of the field, Richie.
It is pretty tight, not much separating the first 5 crews when they came to 500. And the good news is Spain are leading it out in lane 1, right on nearest the enclosure, furthest away we're commentating. They've had the best 500 and they're leading out ahead of Czechia. Just coming up now, Czechia, to match them on both speeds, stroke rate, and they're paddling side by side in lanes 1 and 3. These two starting to move ahead of the other field, maybe France and Romania, the best of those in 3rd and 4th. Coming through 500, Spain from Czechia, Romania, France, they're the top 4. The second, Romania won back in 5th then, and the second Spanish crew back in 6th. But it's starting to change again into a 2-tier race as they come up towards the halfway mark. We're seeing Spain now being overhauled by the Czechia crew and now moving into the lead. They were the second fastest overall in the heats and fastest of the crews here racing in semi-final 2. So it's going with form, centre of the course. Czechia leading it out, but this Spanish crew who had the lead are staying in contention for second spot ahead of France and Romania. They'll get a huge cheer because the bridge is absolutely packed to cheer the crews as they make their way down past the 1,000-metre mark. They'll start to hear them soon, and I'm sure it'll be a lift to have all the Spanish supporters there. See if we can get them back into contention for the lead and that qualifying spot. Through 1,000 metres they go. It's Czechia leading it out from Spain and France.
Segunda semifinal de este dosín femenino, en el que vemos que en primera posición irían las checas, en segunda posición iría el equipo español, de iría Jarama Díaz y Aina Artemán Castañer. En tercer lugar irían pues las francesas, que bueno, es un equipo muy poderoso. Son Emma Cornelis, Ercequia Perón, que son las actuales subcampeonas del mundo. Y luego ya en cuarta posición irán las rumanas, Rumanía 3, en quinta Rumanía 1 y en sexta posición pues iría un barco muy querido aquí en Sevilla, que serían Lidia Florido Rodríguez y Armanda Gil Camacho, que están cerrando la clasificación. En cualquier caso, decir que está siendo muy apretada la regata, sobre todo del puesto segundo al cuarto.
I think the Spanish crew might have given out too much in the first half of the race. They've now been overhauled by the Romania 3 crew, coming up with just over 600 metres to go. No doubt about the leader, though. Czechia, second fastest, I mentioned, in the qualifying heats yesterday. Interestingly, Chile from the previous heat placed 7th at the World Championships last year, and it was this Czechia crew who were right behind them in 8th place. So when we get to the final, it's going to be all to play for there, with both crews in form. Looking at the times as well, coming through the halfway mark, this is a slightly faster semi-final, and you can see why, because they're so tightly bunched up here. They're pushing each other all the way down. Through 500 we go, leading it out by just 1 length. It is the crew from Czechia. Now in second place, it is the crew from France. Really solid rowing from them to move from 3rd to 2nd, from 4th all the way up into 2nd now, coming through with 500 to go. Romania 3, solid as well from them to take advantage of the Spanish crew. It's the Spanish crew back in 4th place now, ahead of Romania 1 and Spain 2. So it's looking fairly solid here. I can't see the crews having much of a response, Colleen, as they come down with just over 250 to go. And it's looking fairly established here. Czechia, France, and Romania 3 looking good to qualify.
Yeah, the French are on the move. They're currently running in second. Czechia holding that first place position, but the French are charging. That's Emma Cornelis and Ercequia Perón of France. Now closing in with just about 3 meters separating them. The quickest moving boat on the course. So Czechia leads, a very close charging France just behind them, with Romania in 3rd.
Y continuamos ya los últimos boyas rojas, entre recién entraron y tenemos la primera posición para la tripulación de Chequia, seguida por Francia y Rumanía, que está en este momento en tercera posición. Lucha también por la cuarta posición entre España y Rumanía 1 y esperemos a ver la clasificación. Parece que las 3 primeras llegan a una ligera ventaja, a ver si se confirma y veamos el final de los 2 equipos españoles.
Absolutely fantastic last quarter for France. They were fourth at the 500, third halfway, two at 500 to go, and they now lead this race at 42 strokes per minute, charging on the course. Czechia with the response. These two going toe-to-toe to get themselves into the A final. Both will go, but who can get their bow ahead? France holds. France continuing to hold 42 strokes per minute. Incredible finish. It is France, then Czechia, as Romania comes through on the far side. We'll get times in just a moment. A great effort from Spain as well. It is Romania, though, to capture that third qualifying position. And this is going to be a blistering A final. Well done to France and Czechia. That's, again, the 1 and 2 with Romania capturing the third spot. We're back up at the start of the men's pair. This is semi-final 1 and well underway.
So they're through 1,000 metres and actually approaching the 500 to go, and it is going with form here because we have the New Zealand crew leading it out. Gold medalists, of course, from last year's World Championships. They've opened up clear water ahead of Germany. We're in second place, but the Germans have now been overhauled by Spain and by Switzerland in the last 500. So 500 to go. It's New Zealand, Spain and Switzerland. 1, 2 and 3. These three starting to move clear of Germany, Croatia and Ireland.
Bueno, esta semifinal, primera semifinal del 2 sin absoluto, nos trae a los neozelandeses, actuales campeones del mundo, dominando la regata, seguidos muy de cerca por los sevillanos, por los locales de aquí del Club Náutico de Sevilla, que van en segunda posición y parece que lo tienen muy bien para entrar en la final. Luego tenemos a los equipos suizos, germanos, croatas e irlandés, algunos ya más retrasados.
So the fastest overall times from the heats yesterday was the New Zealand crew. They lead it out here, but all change in the last 500. We see Germany push back to fourth place. So it's New Zealand, Spain and Switzerland. The cowbells are going. Finish lines in sight.
Yeah, finish lines in sight. An absolutely incredible race at the moment for New Zealand. They've been able to hold on to that first place position throughout, up at 37 strokes per minute, with clear water back to Spain and Switzerland.
Tenemos a Nueva Zelanda dominando la prueba, esta primera semifinal de 2 sin hombres, segunda de España, que está aproximadamente a 2 botes, y cuidado que Suiza está intentando atacar a España por esta segunda posición. Recordamos que los 3 primeros pasan a la final.
And New Zealand continuing to hold Oliver Welch, Benjamin Taylor in the stroke seat. Such a big push in their final 10 strokes or so, up at 37 strokes per minute. Quickest moving boat on the course. Then it's clear water back, and look at the tussle between Spain and Switzerland. It is Spain over Switzerland, but Switzerland to capture that third qualifying position. So New Zealand will take it. Spain and Switzerland, that's the 1, 2, 3 who advance on to the A final. Well, mid-second quarter, over 600 meters gone, Richie. And what can you say about the top of the field?
That's been led out at the moment by the Lithuanian twins. The Stankunas brothers have taken the lead coming through 500, just ahead of Romania 1 and Slovenia. They're the 1, 2 and 3. Great Britain, Uruguay and Norway back in 4th, 5th and 6th when they went through there. They're starting to open up these two leading crews of Lithuania and Romania 1, starting to push out away from the chasing pack through that first quarter. The Romanian crew were second fastest overall behind the New Zealand crew in the heat, so it's going with form here. The Slovenians back in 3rd place as well in the mix and with a good time coming out of the heats. The Lithuanians, who finished 2nd in their heat as well, they're the ones dominating this at the moment as it comes up towards the halfway mark. They continue to lead ahead of Romania in 2nd place, and then I think we're going to see a bit of action here from the Great British crew. They're starting to make a move and try come back on the Slovenian crew, and I think they need to do it now to get up to that halfway mark if they're getting into contention for the 3rd qualifying spot. Through 1,000 we go. It's Lithuania leading from Romania 1 and Slovenia, then further back to Uruguay, Great Britain and Norway.
Segunda semifinal del Dosing, en el que nos encontramos ahora mismo en primera posición a la pareja de los Stankunas, los lituanos, que van dominando muy bien la regata, seguido por Rumanía 1 a menos de un segundo, pero luego ya sí para el 3er y 4.er puesto, pues tanto Eslovenia como Uruguay andan más distanciados de estas dos primeras tripulaciones, y ya en 5ª y 6ª posición también algo más atrasado sería el equipo británico y el equipo noruego. No obstante, entre el 4.er y el 3.er clasificado hay muy poca diferencia y bueno, se puede ver un bonito feeling de regata, aunque sí parece ser que tanto Lituania como Rumanía 1 lo tienen todo para acceder a la final A, y Eslovenia también lo tiene bastante bien, pero veremos a ver la reacción del equipo uruguayo, que está en 4ª posición. Vamos a ver qué reacción tiene.
Huge support again, both from the riverbank and from the bridge as the crews that make their way down. Just about 600 meters to go. We're seeing now a big push from Romania, trying to take the lead from the Lithuanian crew. The Lithuanian brothers placed 4th in the World Championships last year in the 4, opting back into the pair here for World Cup 1 to see how they'll go. They look like they're having a dogged fight here. The Romanian crew, high rate, of course, as we come to expect from Romania, up at 40 strokes per minute. Through 500 they go, a canvas ahead of Lithuania. So these two crews pushing on. Clearwater then back to the crew from Slovenia. They have a little bit of a charge coming from Uruguay now as well, putting them under pressure to see who's going to get the qualifying spots as they went through 500. Romania, Lithuania, Slovenia, they're the 1, 2 and 3. Uruguay, they left it too late, but they're really picking it up here now from Uruguay, up at 42 strokes per minute. They're not going to let that qualifying spot go if they can help it at all. They look like they have the better of the Great British and Norwegian crews back in 4th and 5th. Down we go into the finish. No doubt about the leaders there. Romania timing it again to perfection here, moving ahead of Lithuania. They're the 1 and 2. All eyes on Slovenia and Uruguay for the 3rd spot.
Romania takes it up to 41 strokes per minute. Absolutely incredible push from Lihachi Beraka Rio, and paying off for them. Now up at 43 strokes per minute. So such an incredible sprint coming out of Romania.
Rumanía por la calle 4 hizo un ataque muy fuerte entre los 1.200 y 1.500 metros, alcanzó la cabeza, puso distancia en Lituania en este momento. Las 3 primeras posiciones, Rumanía, Lituania y Eslovenia, bastante claras. Uruguay sigue a 46 paladas, no se entrega. Veremos la final, pero parece ser que las 3 primeras posiciones, Rumanía, Lituania y Eslovenia, van a ser las clasificadas para la final de mañana.
Well, we know that Romania has an incredible sprint as we look toward the next round into the A final, just tapping the boat along at 42, 43, increasing their boat speed. And just next to them, that Lithuanian crew will go through as well, and Slovenia as well. So that's the 1, 2, 3, but a phenomenal performance with Florian Lehachi in the stroke seat, just setting that punishing sprint down the track in the final 250. A job well done. It is Romania, Lithuania, and Slovenia. Well, continues to get even more exciting down in the grandstands. And Paulino, I understand you're sitting with some of our World Rowing fans.
Hello everybody, hola a todos, aquí estamos en la grandstand, aquí estamos en la grada con toda esta peña, un poquito de ruido, a little bit of noise, some people here, there you go, on the grandstand, come on, Seville, the best venue in the world, the best city in the world, come on, do some noise people. There you go, the Macarena dancing, who gonna know the Macarena dancing, ¿quién sabe bailar Macarena, un poquito de Macarena? Peter. There you go, there you go.
So we move on to the women's doubles sculls, from the excitement in the grandstand and back on to the course. The women's doubles sculls semifinal A, B in the early goings, not quite at the 500-meter mark. And well, the story so far, it's been a good start for Canada. Canada up in the lead, the Dutch going right with them. And as we await those times to roll in, we can see it is a real tight race for third, with 3 qualifying spots to the final A. Canada up at the top of the field. That's Elisa Brinen and Avelon Vastenas of Canada in the stroke seat. And Richie, they'll be coming by you soon. It looks like the Netherlands putting on a press as well.
Yeah, the Canadian crew leading through 500, but the Netherlands crew now putting pressure on them through the second 500 meters here. Taking with them as well the Swiss crew. They're the 1, 2 and 3, just a little bit further back than the new combination from Ireland, Sophia Young and Alison Bergen. 2 Irish crews contesting the semi-finals here, and the first of those are in 4th place at the moment, holding off Great Britain and the second Netherlands crew in 5th and 6th. That was the positions through 500. Similar boat speeds and similar rates for all of the crews, 37, 38 strokes per minute. And going with form, it would be the Dutch crew who are fastest overall in the heats that we had yesterday. Their centre lane in lane 4, pushing on, and now they've taken the lead ahead of the Canadian crew. So our early leaders now push back into 2nd position. Just off the pace then, it is the Swiss crew. They're the 1, 2 and 3 as they come up to that halfway mark. And it looks like the Irish crew now will have a little bit of work to do if they're going to get back into contention with the 3rd qualifying spot. They're going to have to come back on the Swiss crew and eat into the lead that they've opened up. Great Britain still within striking distance along with Ireland. Ireland just ahead of Great Britain at the moment, but not by much. So they have all to play for as well. It's just the Netherlands 2 crew back in 6th, further off the pace, but again, all within striking distance, because with these smaller boats, we see how well they're able to lift the boat speed up over the pushes and see if they can get back into contention. Through the halfway mark we go. Netherlands move it out, sorry. They move from 2nd into 1st, ahead of the Swiss now in 2nd place. The early leaders, Canada, push back into 3rd, but still looking good because they have a cushion ahead of the Irish and Great British crews, and the Netherlands back in 6th place. So it looks like the Irish starting to pull away from Great Britain and Netherlands, but they have some work to do to get back into contention with Canada. No doubt about the leaders. Into the second half of the race we go. It's Netherlands and Switzerland looking good, with Canada holding 3rd.
Primera semifinal del doble scull femenino, en la que vemos que ya la tripulación de Holanda 1 se va posicionando en primer lugar. En segundo lugar iría Suiza, cerca, un segundo 77 centésimas. Y luego iría la tripulación de Canadá también muy cerca, lo que está haciendo que estos 3 primeros puestos parezca que están un poquito más consolidados respecto al tercero, al cuarto, quinto y sexto, que serían las tripulaciones de Irlanda 2, Gran Bretaña y Holanda 2. No obstante, va todo bastante apretado, no se puede descartar que haya un cambio en los puestos y bueno, vamos a ver un fin de regata muy bonito, porque entre el cuarto bote de Irlanda 2 y Canadá, que va tercera, la distancia es mínima.
Down with about 600 meters to go, and it's still a tight race here. The crews are coming back on each other, so we might have a real tussle here for the qualifying spots. Ireland starting to make a move now on Canada. 500 metre mark just coming through. The Dutch crew, Netherlands 1, Lisa in the bow seat, Tessa in the stroke seat. They power on, open up clear water ahead of Switzerland. They're the 1 and 2. Ireland now moved into third place. Ireland passing out the Canadians. It looks like Canada might have done too much in the first half of this race. Let's see what response they have. They're coming under increased pressure from the second Netherlands crew, who moved from 6th into 5th place. Great Britain back now off the pace in 6th. A lot of work to do to get back into the mix and overlap with the leading crews, but a good race here from Ireland over the last 500 metres. Sophia Young in the bow seat, Alison Bergen, this new combination had a lot of mileage and some training together over the winter, so they're obviously paying off because they're pushing on here, and it looks like the Irish crew are looking good for the third qualifying spot ahead of Canada. Down to the red boys we go. Netherlands, Switzerland, and can Ireland hold on?
Yeah, the Dutch hold that first place position. No one is touching them, but Ireland able to get their bow ahead of Switzerland now. So Ireland running second, Switzerland running third. That means heartbreak for Canada as they get edged out, but the Dutch are moving.
Anda la prueba, la tripulación de Netherlands por la calle 4 y vemos a gran segundos 1000 metros de Irlanda, que ha tomado la segunda posición, y tenemos a Suiza la tercera posición. Estamos a falta de 150 metros y estas posiciones no van a cambiar. Hay lucha ahora también por el segundo equipo de Netherlands para la cuarta posición y, como siempre, las semifinales, 3 botes pasan a la gran final de mañana.
Absolutely fantastic press from Ireland in these last several hundred meters. The Dutch hold up at 41 strokes per minute, but the Irish are charging as well. It won't be enough to track down the Dutch, but it certainly is enough to get them a spot in tomorrow's A final, with Switzerland going with them. An absolutely incredible charge, and we'll get a sense of times here in just a moment, but that's the 1, 2, 3. The Netherlands, Ireland, and Switzerland. Phenomenal effort over the last 500 meters from Ireland, but the Dutch were just untouchable in that semi-final. We'll see who joins them in the A final, because the next semi-final for the women's double sculls on the course. And Richie, we see that the Poles are leading.
Poles are leading, but I think it was just on the surge of that stroke that they took coming through 500, because the Irish crew 0.2 of a second back in second place. It's between these two at the moment, and they're starting to push each other on. They're racing in lanes 4 and 5 right beside each other, and they're pushing each other on here and starting to open up a lead ahead of Germany, then back in third place. Romania 1, Romania 2 are 4th and 5th, and the neutral athletes back in 6th as they went through the 500 metre mark. They're pushing on here, a similar style between Ireland and Poland. 36 strokes per minute for Poland, 38 strokes per minute for Ireland. Mags Cremens in the stroke street for Ireland. She does dish it out, and that's why she's been so successful across the last number of seasons, picking up that gold medal in the mixed double along with Fintan McCarthy. So she's leading it out from the stroke seat, being backed up there by Zoe Hyde in the bow seat for Ireland. They're trying to put pressure on the Polish crew. Really strong rowing from them for the Polish crew. They came third in their heat, so they're doing well here, leading out semi-final 1. As they came through the halfway mark, very little has changed except for the distance, 0.01. The Poles are leading ahead of Ireland. These two starting to push on, but they're taking with them Germany, and the question is, can Romania 1, Bodnar and Radis, the return of Romania, can we see them come in and push in? What a sprint finish they're going to have. They're starting to push away then from the neutral athletes in Romania 2. So once again, it looks like we're going to have 4 boats in contention for 3 spots. Can Poland, Ireland and Germany move far enough ahead that they won't get out-sprinted by Bodnar and Radish of Romania? Let's see what's going to happen. Just under the bridge they go. It's still the Polish crew and Ireland battling it out. Ireland starting to take the lead.
Segunda semifinal del doble scull femenino, que está siendo realmente competida. En primera posición iría Polonia, pero seguida muy de cerca, prácticamente a la altura, incluso diría que la van a rebasar el equipo irlandés. Luego en tercera posición estaría un segundo Alemania y luego a Rumanía, atletas individuales y Rumanía 2 seguirían las posiciones. Hay que decir que es una regata con muchísimo nivel. Las atletas individuales fueron bronces en el pasado mundial y las rumanas de Rumanía 1 numerosas medallas olímpicas de todo tipo. Una regata muy competida que se va a decidir sobre todo en los últimos metros porque los equipos lo van a dar todo por entrar en esas tres primeras deseadas plazas que da acceso a la final.
400 meters to go, and the Irish crew, just half a canvas is what they have, and that's a nice cushion, but not enough, because that Polish crew are responding with each and every stroke. And guess what's happened? It's going with form. The Romanians have passed out Germany to take that third qualifying spot. These three looking secure now. I don't think Germany will be able to respond. The neutral athletes and the second Romanian crew further back in fifth and sixth. All eyes on the three leading crews, Ireland, Poland, Romania. Let's see what sprint finishes they have and what order they're going to finish in, but these three looking good for the qualifying spots.
Yeah, absolutely stunning performance from the Romanians, the legendary Bodna and Radish combination. This double is back. They're not able to track down Ireland. Ireland holding at the top of the field, but able to get themselves into a second place position at the moment and to overhaul the Poles. It is Ireland leading, a very close Romania, then back to Poland.
Estamos últimos 200 metros, ya pueden ver ustedes cómo vienen los botes y una gran lucha por la primera posición entre Irlanda y Rumanía, seguidas de Polonia y luchando también Alemania por esa tercera, cuarta posición, aunque tiene clara ventaja en este momento la tripulación de Rumanía.
Look out, Romania is moving 42 strokes per minute. They increase the boat speed. Watch out, Ireland. They are looking to overhaul the Irish in the final few strokes and take it from them. All three will advance onto the A final, Romania, Ireland, and Poland. But absolutely stunning performance from Romania over the last 20 strokes or so to get their bow just ahead of Ireland and send that message with Poland going through as well. And yeah, Bodna and Radish, just a phenomenal pair. A phenomenal double, phenomenal combination together. And with Ireland then taking second, Sophia Young, Alison Bergen, and this Polish combination of Rogliewicz and Kalinowska to take third. From the women's double sculls onto the men's double sculls. It's semi-final one, mid-second quarter with Serbia out in the lead.
Serbia from Poland and Great Britain. Great Britain 1, Dixon and Schroeder are in third place ahead of Fuller and Long in fourth. Then Germany and Portugal back in fifth and sixth place when they went through 500. Little has changed up at the top. The top three maintains Serbia, Poland and Great Britain coming through the halfway mark. Less than 3 seconds separating the three crews. And Dixon and Schroeder holding on to third at the moment. But a real push here from the Portuguese crew sees them move from sixth into fourth place in the last 500 meters. Germany holding on to fifth, and the new combination of Fuller and Long from Great Britain to push back into sixth place. So starting to open up like we have seen in so many of the races so far coming through the halfway mark. They're flying down towards us here, but the Serbian crew continue to push on ahead of Poland. They're the 1 and 2. Great Britain just about holding on into third place as well. They come up towards the bridge and looking good for the qualifying spot so far between Serbia, Poland and Great Britain.
Primera semifinal del doble scull masculino en la que vemos que el equipo serbio va comandando la regata. En principio se está asegurando casi entrar ya en la final A. En segunda posición estaría el equipo de Polonia, a un segundo y pico de los serbios. Luego tendríamos a Gran Bretaña, que va en tercera posición y muy cerca seguido por Portugal, también por Alemania y Gran Bretaña 2. La verdad es que van todos los barcos bastante parejos, pero esta regata pues nos deja esta estampa en que tanto el equipo polaco como serbio parecen imponer sus condiciones de actuales campeones del mundo y subcampeones del mundo de la modalidad. Y ahora mismo parece ya los 1500 que van a asegurar esa plaza y habrá más lucha para el tercer y cuarto puesto.
The Serbian crew were the fastest out of the heats overall, the only crew to go under 6:20, so definitely in form. Of course, winning the silver medal at the World Championships last year. They're continuing on that streak that they have from there. The Polish looking good in second ahead of Great Britain. It's starting to bunch up a little bit middle of the field as they come in the run-in towards the finish, but no doubt about the leaders. It is Serbia. They've led from the very start of the race here. Poland well established in second, and it's going to be interesting to see now Great Britain, Portugal. Are they going to have a tussle like we saw in the previous races? Will you see sprint finishes coming into play as well as they run in towards the finish? It's Serbia and Poland looking good. Great Britain now really pushing on and moving on and looking good for that third spot.
Yeah, Great Britain doing everything they possibly can to solidify that third place position. Closest to them would be Portugal. Up at the top continues to be Serbia. This combo took silver in the double at the last year's World Champs.
Vemos a Serbia en primera posición, seguida de Polonia, y hay una fuerte lucha por esa tercera plaza entre Gran Bretaña y Portugal. En estos momentos Portugal está a 42 paladas, Gran Bretaña a 40, se están ajustando, hay apenas 2 metros de diferencia y veremos quién consigue esa tercera plaza para la gran final.
Well, no doubt about it. It's Serbia up at the top of the field, but will the Brits track down Poland? I don't think so. Poland holding off Great Britain as they come through the line. Little look from the bow seat in the Polish cell, Miroslav Ziatarski, to capture that second place position. They've done the job. They've gotten through. And, well, we'll look forward to seeing Serbia in the A final along with Poland and Great Britain. A good push from GB there at the end to hold off Portugal. So it is Serbia, Poland, and Great Britain. Well, who will join Serbia, Poland, and Great Britain? That's the field for semi-final number 2, which is well underway as the Dutch lead.
Dutch lead through 500 metres, but just about, because there's absolutely nothing between the Dutch, Belgium and Spain, as well as Switzerland. These four starting to push on, and still with overlaps, though, are the crews from France and Czechia. So a perfect chevron of rowing coming down towards us here, with the Netherlands leaving out, but just by about half a canvas they're leading Spain. The lead changing between these two centre crews as they take their strokes and come down towards the halfway mark. The Netherlands are in the lead, then Spain are in the lead. It's swapping and changing between the two of them. 39 strokes per minute from the Netherlands, 41 strokes per minute from Spain. Where can they go from here? We're going to find out, because we're coming up to the halfway mark and into the second half of this race. Netherlands and Spain really battling it out there. Just crossing the line, it's still the Netherlands. The combination of Tuela and Van Dorp holding on to the lead at the moment, just about from Spain. They're the 1 and 2. The Swiss crew moving into third place, then moving up from fourth. Belgium pushed back into fourth place ahead of France and from Czechia. So maybe we're starting to see three crews move out, very similar to race semi-final 1, where we saw Serbia, Poland and Great Britain come through. Almost identical times as well coming through the 1,000 metre mark. The Netherlands 3:05.33, Serbia in the previous race 3:05.73. So what a final we're in store for us. But one step to go is to get into that final. Netherlands leading from Spain and Switzerland. All eyes now, Belgium, France and Czechia are going to have to make a big move coming under this bridge to see if they'll get back in contention.
Impresionante segunda semifinal del doble scull masculino, sobre todo por la igualdad tan tremenda que está habiendo entre las tripulaciones. Estas son las regatas que gustan al espectador. En primera posición estaría Holanda 1, pero pisándole los talones tanto España en segunda posición, Suiza 1, luego en cuarta posición Bélgica, en quinta Francia, en sexta Chequia, pero ojo, que en 2 segundos y pico están todos los barcos. Vamos a ver una regata realmente preciosa. La estamos viendo ahora cómo se acercan a los 1500 metros. Seguirían mandando los holandeses. En segunda posición el barco español de Hortapombo y Conde Romero. Y para el tercer, cuarto puesto, quinto y sexto vemos una lucha muy reñida. Si bien los belgas y los suizos parece que tienen más opciones de luchar por ese tercer puesto.
Huge support again, both from the enclosure side and on the bridge as the crews come down with less than 500 to go. The Netherlands continue with just half a length lead over Spain. These two looking good, but it's really tight now between Belgium and Switzerland for the third qualifying spot. Looking secure. Red boys are going to be in sight. Netherlands dominating this race, but taking Spain with them each and every stroke on they make the way down. And Colleen, another fight for the third spot here. This time it's Belgium and Switzerland.
Yeah, it's a fight for the third spot indeed. And Belgium, well, they are on the charge. So Spain will just need to have a look. Spain holding on to that second qualifying position as the Dutch lead.
Últimos 250 metros, parece que Holanda mantiene esa primera posición, España la segunda posición, excelente subida en estos momentos, 45 paladas para España, velocidad máxima, parece que va a entrar en segunda posición, pero atentos que Bélgica está a 2 metros de España, igualando en estos momentos proa a proa, España y Bélgica por la segunda y tercera posición.
Absolutely incredible push from the Dutch with Thibaut Vivet in the stroke state, a name that we know well. They've managed to overhaul the Spaniards, but Spain still in a qualifying position, looking so good for the Dutch. Here comes Belgium with Spain holding.
Sí, claramente ahora en estos momentos Holanda, cuidado la subida de Bélgica, segunda Bélgica, tercera España, y en estos momentos cuarta Suiza. Bonita regata, muy disputada entre todos los participantes por esas 3 plazas.
And a job well done to Spain to capture that third qualifying position. It is the Netherlands, a big charge from Belgium there at the end to take the second place position, with Spain advancing on to the A final. Well, the Spanish fans are out in force this afternoon, and one family has a very special reason to be cheering. Let's head down to catch up with Paulino and hear why.
Hello everyone, hola a todos. Estamos aquí con la madre de Alex García Pujolar. Ha clasificado el esquí masculino para mañana, para la final. Bueno, Ani, lo primero de todo, enhorabuena. ¿Y cómo estás?
Muchísimas gracias. Bueno, como madre imagino que muy emocionada, muchísimo. Cada regata es una emoción.
Eso es. ¿Y cómo lo ves para mañana? ¿Lo ves? ¿Has hablado con él ahora? ¿Hablarás con él esta tarde? ¿Cómo lo ves para mañana?
Bueno, yo a Alex lo veo muy bien, lo veo muy fuerte, está súper animado y yo espero pues que a tope, que si podemos poner la medalla de oro, pues mucho mejor, a tope.
She's saying he's the mother of Alex García Pujolar that makes the final for tomorrow, the A final. His first rowing international competition in the single, and what a way to start her single way. So she told me that he see Alex very strong, very motivated for tomorrow. So she think will be the gold medal tomorrow. It will be tough and difficult, but we're gonna try.
Well, we move on then to the men's straight fours with Poland, Denmark, Romania won, Great Britain, Germany won, and Spain. Richie, they're mid-second quarter.
Mid-second quarter, but through 500, it was the Great British crew leading it out. They're probably one of the sure bets here to hold on to their winning streak, having won the World Championship gold medal in Shanghai last year. There's the same combination that are now back racing and leading out the first semi-final. In second place is the Polish crew. They were fourth in their heat, qualifying through one of the fastest times, so they're obviously looking to make a mark here in the semi-final. They're in second place, just about ahead of the crew from Romania. They had the exact same time coming through the 500 metre mark, so we'll see how they're faring coming up. But no doubt about the leaders. Great Britain push on ahead of Poland, and Romania won. Back then to Denmark in fourth place, sorry, ahead of Germany and Spain. So a very little between the top four crews, maybe Germany 1 and Spain, with some work to do if they're going to get back into contention, because the Great British crew, Poland, Romania and Denmark are starting to open up a lead. Great Britain in lane 4, 37 strokes per minute, absolutely rock solid coming down the track, leading it out ahead of the crew from Romania, and they've opened up about a 24-metre lead, which is kind of unheard of in this race. You can see just how tightly packed the rest of the chasing field are. It shows just how dominant Great Britain are, that at the halfway mark they've opened up a 4.5-second lead. It's Romania moving in to establish themselves in second place, and now we're seeing the Danish crew move from fourth into third, putting pressure on the Polish crew, passing them out and looking to get the third spot ahead of Poland, now push back into fourth, and these four starting to move away, as I said, from Germany 1 and Spain. They're coming up on the bridge. Again, lots of encouragement there. There's people braving the hot weather to give their crews a cheer coming through that marker just about 700 metres before they get to the finish line. Under the bridge first goes a crew from Great Britain, clear water, then back to Romania and Denmark. Let's see what response we have from Poland. Can they get back into that third spot? Germany 1 and Spain with a little bit of work to do to come back into the reckoning.
Primera semifinal del 4C masculino, en el que ya vemos que el equipo británico, que son los actuales campeones del mundo de la modalidad, se van distanciando en el primer puesto. Muy fácil remando, llevan un ritmo de 36 paladas, lo cual quiere decir que van ganando cómodamente. Y luego sí ya vemos que el equipo rumano, que va en segunda posición, el danés que va tercero y el polaco que va en cuarto, están separados prácticamente en un segundo y pico. Van a luchar por esas plazas que dan acceso a la final A. Y luego ya un poco más atrasadas serían tanto Alemania como el equipo español, que irían en quinta y sexta posición.
So what a dominant display here. Absolutely clear water from the crew from Great Britain, coached by Christian Felkel and Daniel Graham in the bow seat, James Robson in 2, Dudegraff in 3, and George Byrne dishing it out there in the stroke seat, well ahead of the chasing pack, and that chasing pack is being led by Romania. They're the second place crew, and then it looks like Denmark and Poland, just half a length separating them, coming through with 500 to go. And again, all eyes are going to be on the race for that third qualifying spot, because Great Britain, Romania looking good. Let's see what Denmark and Poland will do.
Yeah, the men's coxless 4 field in Seville feels wide open. Of course, with the exception of Great Britain, they come as the reigning world champions with the same lineup that stunned everyone in Shanghai. Putting on a show now, just behind them Romania, and still looking good for Denmark.
Tenemos ya los últimos 200 metros. Inglaterra, Gran Bretaña con gran facilidad va a ganar esta semifinal. Como hemos dicho, son los actuales campeones del mundo. Y vemos la segunda posición, Rumanía. Cuidado por la tercera posición. No sé si va a dar tiempo, pero muy atentos a Polonia y Dinamarca. Dinamarca y Polonia por la tercera posición.
Fantastic finish for Denmark. They take it up to 40 strokes per minute to grab onto that qualifying position out of lane 2. Great Britain, absolutely untouchable. It is Romania so deep in this field with several entries from Romania in the men's 4. And yeah, just fantastic finish as they come through the line. But it's Great Britain to take the win with Denmark capturing the third spot. So who will join Denmark, Romania, and Great Britain? We'll keep an eye on Lithuania and New Zealand in the semifinal number 2, who come to Seville as perhaps new emerging challengers, Richie.
Yeah, they are definitely ones to watch in this race, and we'll be keeping an eye as well on the times when they come through the halfway mark, and let's just see how they compare to the great British crew who won so well in the previous one. But this new combination, as you said, Colleen, slightly different to the lineup that we had in the World Championships. A lot of success between all of these names. They're very familiar to both A finals and to that medal podium as well. They're leading when they came through the 500 meter ahead of France. They were the 1 and 2, the neutral athletes in third, but very much in touch as well. The young crew from New Zealand, a lot of success at under 23 and experience at under 23 level. Back in fourth, it's Canada then in fifth ahead of the Lithuanian crew in sixth. They're just gone through the halfway mark. Netherlands now continue to lead and extend their lead. They've doubled the lead they had coming through 500, so they're well establishing and looking good. Their time there at 2:53.58, very similar to GB's 2:52.69, so very little between them. Roll on the final, and I'm sure they'll be the two crews centre of the course battling it out. Back to this semi-final to see who'll be joining them there. Netherlands looking good so far. The French crew well established in second, and now we're seeing New Zealand move from fourth into third, just ahead of the neutral athletes. So these three starting to open up. Let's see what response we have from the neutral athletes. Lithuania as well lift from sixth into fifth. They're making a move to try get back into contention, and now it's the Canadians in sixth place to round out the second semi-final of the men's fours. Under the bridge we go. Netherlands leading it out ahead of France. The big question is, what can New Zealand and neutral athletes do to get that third qualifying position?
Segunda semifinal del 4-Sin, que nos está llevando también una regata muy bonita en la que el equipo de Países Bajos está mostrando su poderío desde la primera palada hasta prácticamente estos 1500 metros que llevan ya. Van primeros destacados, también llevan un ritmo bastante cómodo. Y en segunda posición iría Francia, que quiere asegurarse ese pase a la final A. Y Nueva Zelanda parece que también se distancia del equipo lituano. En principio serían estos tres primeros equipos los que parece que accederían a la final A, y luego tendríamos a Lituania, a los atletas neutrales y a Canadá un poco más atrás. Tal vez Lituania tenga alguna opción, pero parece ser que tanto Nueva Zelanda, Francia y sobre todo Holanda estarán en la final A.
So down we go into the red boys coming up soon. No doubt about it, though. Netherlands leading it out. France looking really solid in second place. And Colleen, impressive from the young crew from New Zealand to move from fourth now into third and well established ahead of Lithuania, neutral athletes in Canada.
Yeah, they are young, aren't they? The bow pair, 23 years old, 25-year-old Campbell Crouch in the 3 seat, and Fred Vavasauer, just 22 years old. So job well done to the Kiwis. Could be a third qualifying position. No one's touching the Dutch up at the top of the field, and the French hold second.
Claramente las tres primeras posiciones, Holanda sobre Francia con un bote de diferencia y la misma diferencia entre Francia y Nueva Zelanda. Estas tres tripulaciones estarán mañana en la gran final. Lituania intenta mantener la cuarta plaza, pero parece ser que las tres primeras ya están decididas.
The Dutch kick it up to 38 strokes per minute. Absolutely phenomenal. The French moving, though, just a touch bit faster. No, the Dutch respond. They've got a good 1 length or so open water. It's Rick Ranks and Gert-Jan van Doorn in the 3 seat, setting that rhythm just behind them. It is this combination from France, Theo Reillet in the stroke seat, Florian Ludwig in the 3, and New Zealand again to capture that third qualifying position. That means that it pushes Lithuania out into the B final as the remaining crews roll in Canada and the individual neutral athletes. So the Dutch looking solid in this combination. It's a new lineup for them, and it gets them into the A final. Well, that's the 1, 2, 3, the Netherlands, France, and New Zealand in semi-final 2 of the men's straight 4, joining Denmark, Romania, and Great Britain. The The start list then for semifinal one, it's the men's quads. These boats go so fast and furious down the track, and we see the starting lineup there. Czechia, Poland 2, Germany, the Netherlands, Great Britain, and Belgium. That's a replay of the start. The crew's just shy of that first timing mark at 500 meters down. And well, early goings, we see the bow of Czechia poking out, Richie.
Yeah, in lane one, they've snuck out an early lead there, maybe catching the other crews by surprise. Coming through 500, they're leading it out ahead of Poland, Netherlands in third place. Great Britain, Germany and Belgium, fourth, fifth and sixth. The German crew fastest overall in both these semi-finals coming up through the heats yesterday. That's why we will see how they're going to get on here in lane three. At the moment, they're back in fifth place. Might be a bit of a surprise, so we'll see what squeeze they can put on to get back into contention. But Czechia continue to move on here. They're leading 38 strokes per minute, one of the fastest boat speeds out on the water, so they're going for it out from the get-go. Poland going with them. They're side by side in lanes 1 and 2, so they're pushing each other on here. The Polish crew in second place, just about holding off the challenge. But I see Netherlands now moving from third into second over the last 100 meters. Big push from them. 40 strokes per minute from the crew from the Netherlands coming up to challenge for second place. The German crew have a little bit of work to do here. They're starting to lose touch with the early leaders of Czechia, Poland and the Netherlands. Great Britain, Germany, Belgium are fourth, fifth and sixth. The halfway mark coming up shortly, and we'll see Czechia really ambitious and dominant display from them, coached by Josef Lux. They push on and they're going hell for leather coming through to the halfway mark. They still lead it out ahead of the crew from the Netherlands, still pushing up at 39-40 strokes per minute, trying to get back that lead, coming through the halfway mark. Czechia from the Netherlands. Now here come Germany. They've gone from fifth place into third, taking that third spot ahead of Poland pushing down, and Great Britain and Belgium now still in fifth and sixth through the halfway mark. Impressive stuff from the Czechia crew, but this and Dutch crew really putting pressure on them in the last 500 meters, and they're starting to move in to second place and come up and challenge for that lead. Germany really not shaking off Poland just yet. They're going to have a bit of work to do in the third quarter of this race as they come up towards the bridge. Impressive stuff here from Czechia. Let's see though the second half of the race of the go. Have they done too much in that first half? Can the Netherlands pull through? It's all to play for here. Under the bridge we go. Czechia leading it out from the Netherlands.
Primera semifinal del 4Q de esta bonita modalidad en la que ya vemos que Chequia se va imponiendo. Salió en primera posición, sigue en primera posición al paso de los 1000 metros, seguida muy de cerca por el equipo de los Países Bajos, y luego tenemos tres equipos que están prácticamente en un pañuelo, que serían Alemania, Polonia 2 y Gran Bretaña. Ya algo más descolgada estaría el equipo de Bélgica, pero vamos a ver un final de regata apasionante, muy bonito, en la que vemos que el equipo de los Países Bajos, el equipo de Chequia, van enseñando su popa a los demás botes, pero está Alemania y bueno, los demás equipos, Gran Bretaña y Polonia 2, que quieren ir a la final A.
Just coming through 500, we saw Netherlands make their move. They now take the lead just ahead of the Czechia crew, this young Czechia crew, under 23s. This is what we love about the under 23s. They're like honey badgers. They don't care. They're going to go for it. They went out and really laid it out in the first half of the race. Let's see, can they hold on and get that second qualifying spot? Netherlands leading it from Czechia. Germany on a charge coming in. Have they left too late for the crews from Great Britain to come back and Poland into the mix? It's looking good here. Time to perfection for Netherlands. A canvas they led coming through the 500, and now they lead out coming into the red boys.
It is the Dutch continuing to lead, and well, Czechia able to hold off a charging Germany just barely. This young Czechia crew up at 40 strokes per minute, but it is the Dutch, then a very close Germany and Czechia for the 1, 2, 3.
Tenemos luchando por la primera posición, en estos momentos Alemania y Chequia. También vemos la tripulación de Holanda. Estas tres disputarán las tres primeras plazas, pero atención por la calle 5. Atención la calle 5, que Inglaterra lo va a intentar esa tercera posición.
Well, that push from Germany saw their bow get ahead for just a moment. The Dutch respond. The Dutch holding on to the lead. Germany just behind them. It's pushing Czechia back, but Czechia is still holding on to a qualifying position. What an effort from Germany, but it looks like, well, we'll get times in just a moment. It looks like it's gone the way of the Dutch. Absolutely stunning finish for the Netherlands. And indeed, they take that first place position, checking the box, getting into that A final with Germany, and a big last 500-meter stretch for Germany to take that second qualifying position. Hats off to the young crew from Czechia, who will capture the third qualifying spot into the A final, with Great Britain just being edged out. Well, who will join our three winners of semifinal number one, the Netherlands, Germany, and Czechia, because the second semifinal already on the course with Uruguay, Romania, Croatia, Estonia, Spain, and Poland.
A very familiar sight. The Polish crews over the last number of seasons have dominated this men's quadruple sculls event. Multiple medals across all World Cups, Europeans and World Championships. And they're leading it out at the moment ahead of Romania when they went through the 500-meter mark. The Spanish crew just slightly off the pace of these early leaders in third, ahead of Croatia, Uruguay and Estonia. Estonia just a little bit off the pace, but our leading five crews all overlapping with just a length and a half, 2 lengths separating them when they came through 500. Very little has changed up at the front. Poland and Romania still the leaders. The Polish crew extending their lead slightly over Romania. Now we see Croatia move from fourth into third place and establish themselves there. Spain move back into fourth place. They have a little work to do. Uruguay in fifth and Estonia in sixth at the halfway mark. Looking good for Poland and Romania, and I think we'll come down to what we saw in the previous race. Those sprint finishes, really solid finish from Germany to come up and challenge for the first position along with Netherlands and Czechia. Here we see Poland, Romania and Croatia really trying to step themselves apart from the chasing pack as they come in towards the 7:50 to go. They're just going under the bridge now. Looking good. Poland, Romania and Croatia, they're the 1, 2 and 3.
Segunda semifinal de esta modalidad de 4 scull, en la que vemos que desde el primer momento Polonia 1 ha puesto la quinta marcha y se ha posicionado en primera posición, que parece tener controlada. Luego está Rumanía, que está muy cerca, pero no le causa peligro. Luego sí tenemos prácticamente en un segundo tanto a Croacia, España como Uruguay, y algo más atrasada tenemos al equipo de Estonia, que parece que está ya más descolgado. Vemos que al paso de los 1500 metros, Polonia en primera posición, Rumanía en segundo, y luego va a haber una lucha muy fuerte para ese tercer puesto entre los equipos de Croacia, Estonia y España.
Coming through 500, it was half a length that the Poles had over Romania. That's all that separated them, but a really tight chasing pack then between Croatia, Estonia and Spain. The Uruguay crew have pushed back. They're back in 6th place, haven't come through the 500-meter mark yet. So all to play for here. Finish line is in sight. Poles in lane 6 have snuck out to that lead, but been chased down hard by Romania, Croatia, Estonia and Spain.
Yeah, this Polish combination, the men's quad, the only unchanged unit in the event this season. So they know one another, they know their race strategy and plan. Up at 42, they're leading, but look out because Romania looking to overhaul Poland.
Ya tenemos los últimos 200 metros. Tenemos a la tripulación de Rumanía en primera posición, seguida de Polonia. Tercera posición en estos momentos tenemos la tripulación de Rumanía. Y cuidado, parece ser que Polonia está atacando muy fuertemente a Croacia. España está en estos momentos en cuarta, quinta posición, a 42 paladas, últimos 100 metros. Parece ser que hay fuerte lucha por la segunda, por una plaza en la final, por la tercera posición en estos momentos.
Absolutely fantastic finish for Romania, up at 45 strokes per minute. They are charging to the line. They have overhauled Poland, and Croatia making sure that they stay right in it with Estonia just behind them. But Croatia, they've done the job. They've gotten in, and just an absolutely fantastic push from Romania at the end to capture the win in this semi-final, just knocking Poland then into second, sending a message as we look toward that A final tomorrow with Croatia grabbing the third qualifying position. Well, it's been an absolutely thrilling morning, starting with some of the minor finals, the EDC finals, and then moving straight on to the semis where the margins are so tight and there is so much at stake, the last chance to get into the A finals. We've just concluded our semi-final races. We'll take a break for lunch, and we look forward to being back with you at 2:05 for the beginning of the B finals, followed by our first A finals.
Impresionante, Colin, la jornada de la mañana. Qué bonito es el remo, señores. Como dije en la presentación, hoy es el día de más intensidad. Y así fue. Espectacular. Gracias a los deportistas por hacernos disfrutar y a todos ustedes por vivir y apoyar desde las gradas y al resto de gente que nos siguen desde el resto del mundo. Les recuerdo que hoy a las 14:05 tenemos las finales B y A de la modalidad de ligeros. Buenas tardes.